agree.
Hi, my name is Dr. Michael Steichen of Northwest Oral and Maxillofacial Surgery in Arlington Heights, Elgin, and Lake Zurich. As an oral surgeon and business owner, I recognize the importance of relationships. I need a bank that responds quickly and creatively and understands the unique needs of healthcare practices. Cornerstone has been a valuable business partner and has helped me grow my practice and seize opportunities as they come up. Whether it's a line of credit, financing equipment, or real estate, Cornerstone is there for me.
Thank you, Doctor. Please visit cornerstonenb.com, or I invite you to give me a call at 847-654-3000 to explore a business banking partnership.
Equal Opportunity Lender. Member FDIC.
5:07. Time to check the climate of your business with aircomfort.com, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Let's get an update on the early morning roads. AM 560 traffic center time. Here's Jim Talamonte. Good morning, Jim.
Good morning, Mike. The expressways and tollways are looking really good right now. Most of the overnight construction is gone. We're not seeing any delays. There's still some extra work on the westbound Adams Tollway. In the tri-state to Lee, there's a left lane closure and then a right lane closure from 59 to 25. The rail, CTA Blue Line trains bound for Forest Park are not stopping at Harlem until October 4th due to construction. Traffic is the service of Amtrak. Great memories are made on trains, not in traffic. Experience travel the way it should be. Go from Chicago to Denver for $94 with Amtrak Saver Fares. Book now at amtrak.com/saverfares. See where the train can take you. Restrictions apply. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer starts next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. The latest with our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
A more humid day with a mix of clouds and sun. A shower or thunderstorm around in some spots with a high today 88. Partly cloudy night, low 66. Then partial sunshine tomorrow. Humid with a high 88. And a humid night with a shower in spots, low tomorrow night 69. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently in Chicago, we have 68 degrees. Next news at 5:30. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Real Estate Live with Andrew Holmes. Get honest answers to your questions every Sunday at 12 noon.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, I suppose we should start by updating what we have learned over the last 24 hours about the Chelsea bomber. We learned that back in 2014, his father was concerned that he was on the cusp of becoming a terrorist.
Yeah, that was after his year that he had spent in Pakistan. And when he came back, there's some family fight. A domestic situation where he allegedly stabbed his brother. Dad was concerned. So Dad called police, but he was never questioned by the FBI. He talked to police, said that he might be a terrorist. But then during the course of the conversation, kind of walked it back that, well, no, maybe he's not a terrorist. They weren't getting along. So it's a very convoluted situation.
How big an issue is our immigration legal regime going to be on Monday night's debate? A big one.
Big one.
Also, we know some new things about the mosque that he attended. It has ties to a fundamentalist Islamist group. At least this is part of a report, and this includes the research by the Clarion Project, which tracks extremist Islamic groups. The Muslim community of New Jersey in Fords is the mosque that Rahami apparently attended, and it's been linked to the Muslim Brotherhood as well as Jamaat al-Islami, which is a Pakistani extremist Muslim group. It's also tied to the Islamic Circle through its imam. It's tied to the Islamic Circle of North America, which in its organizational handbook said, quote, their goal is to create a united Islamic state by an elected caliph in accordance with the laws of Sharia. So that's a political Islamic statement, not a religious Islamic statement, and it's the political part, or it's Islam as a political governance system that turns out to be the central problem here when it comes to these jihadists.
Yeah, and when he was taken into custody after that shootout with police, they found on him a journal, and he had ramblings about terrorists, talked about the sounds of bombs are going to be heard in the streets, and he praised Osama bin Laden and the Boston bombers. And so he had this planned, and he's been having these malice thoughts for a long time.
And so on the immigration system, and by the way, it's interesting since Obama addressed the UN yesterday, as well as did our partner in peace, Rouhani, the Iranian president. We'll get to that. But in the EU, that multicultural Mecca, the EU, 59% of those surveyed by Pew Research across 10 EU countries are concerned about increased terrorism with the refugee influx. So it seems to me that at least at the not at the elite level, not at the governance level perhaps, although there has been some change in the tone of both Merkel as well as Hollande, but people get what's going on around them. And even if you want to be tolerant and you want to celebrate diversity, and you can be both of those things, you can be tolerant and somebody who celebrates diversity, but not so tolerant, not so open-minded that your brain falls out your ear. And that seems to me something that people are starting to get after the number of terrorist attacks that have been suffered in the Western world in just the last 12 months. And, oh, by the way, in the last 24 months, in the last 2 years in this country, speaking about immigration and how central that's going to be to the conversation between Clinton and Trump on Monday night, 10 times in the last 2 years, terrorists have slipped through the immigration process. 10 times, just in the last 2 years, in Ohio, in Virginia, in Minnesota, in Texas, in New York State.
It's a problem. And I need to correct myself. Rahami's father was interviewed by the FBI because there was this violent...
He was interviewed by the FBI.
Yes, he was. But it was stemmed from a tip that Rahami's father was calling his son a terrorist. People heard that, called FBI. FBI talked to him. And this is what Rahami's father said yesterday.
Now he say he's a terrorist. I say, okay.
Why did you call the FBI 2 years
because
ago? What happened?
He's doing bad.
He's doing bad? What did he do bad?
He stabbed my son. He hit my wife. And I put him in the jail 2 years ago.
So he stabbed his other son. He he hit his mother, and that's why he called the FBI.
Yeah. But let's just kind of hold on to that for a second. So it's one thing when you have a violent person in your household. It's another. Mm-hmm. This person is uncontrollable. He's abusing people. It's another thing when the dad sees the presence of a terrorist because it's connected to something. The violence is connected to something, right? It's not because he has a behavioral disorder. It's not because he's some kind of violent person without foundation. There is a foundation. And the dad saw the connect, and the dad made the connect. And I again, and we've had this conversation before in other terrorist attacks on domestic soil, I'd be fascinated to know what the FBI gleaned from their conversation with him and why they decided
not to even interview Rahami himself. The
right.
kid, the subject, the focus point. And it's so strange. So his wife, mother of two, by the way, she's in Dubai. They found her yesterday. FBI's interviewing her. But Rahami's mother, nobody knows where she is. They're looking for her. She left the country apparently a few weeks ago. So did his parents know? Did they do enough if they thought he was violent to try and stop him?
Well, I mean,
312-642-5600. I mean, did they do enough? I mean,
well, again, we talk about this. The family was culpable, or the family had to know. They're co-conspirators in the acts of the individual terrorist. Well, I mean, if Dad calls the FBI and says I got a problem in my household, and obviously I don't think I can deal with it by myself, which is why I'm calling the FBI. Again, I'm sure we're going to hear about the resource issue and 1,000 investigations of these sorts going on in 50 states. And I understand that. But boy, oh boy, then more resources need to be brought to bear. And I guess we don't need to devote 150 agents to the Hillary Clinton case since you were never going to recommend that for charges anyway. I mean, seriously.
But the FBI didn't even put him on a database for potential terrorists.
Yeah, I mean, so
because they thought they closed the case saying it's a domestic dispute.
Yeah, so I mean, we talk about police officers being trained on de-escalation, like is going on in Chicago right now. Well, since this has happened a number of times now, and I understand that the FBI has to be right all the time, or they're going to be second guessed, and I understand all of the constraints on the FBI, but this also demands some introspection. What should be done or shouldn't be done in the processing of calls like from this father that is not being done, and this is not an isolated incident anymore. And kind of what are they missing? And if it's just a personnel issue, then let's talk about personnel or where personnel is devoted within the Federal Bureau of Investigations. I mean, this is a conversation that needs to include a review of FBI procedures and protocols and available resources. Just no question. Kevin in Home and Flossmoor, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, well, the latest I heard was that there was 800 people on the FBI's terrorism watch list that were just made U.S. citizens.
That's right. They were
citizenship.
Yeah, they were actually 800.
It was just an accident. 858. It's just
yeah. Don't worry about that, Kevin. It was an accident.
Yeah,
it's all good. Thanks for the call. I appreciate it. No, but this is again, all of this is going to be central to the debate between Hillary and Trump on Monday night, and it should be, and the debate for the rest of the last 49 days of this election cycle. What are we doing across all of the institutions that are front line when it comes to Homeland Security? So ICE and the FBI and intelligence agencies and the communication between them at that level, across agency, as well as down to state and local law enforcement. I mean, 15 years after 9/11, and we're having the same conversation we were having right after 9/11. Randy in Crown Point.
Morning, guys. Growing up in the South, I remember very vividly back in the 60s and 70s, the FBI raiding and even shutting down KKK offices in my hometown because they were involved in racial tension, racial nonsense. Why in the world can't our FBI do the same thing to these mosques that are absolute breeding grounds to the terrorist organizations? And we can go back as recently as Ruby Ridge, which was in the 90s, and the Branch Davidians, where the FBI's, the different intelligence agencies had infiltrated these organizations to find out just how nefarious they were. And we're afraid to do this to the mosque, and that's because of the PC. We're afraid of offending a hateful, bigoted Muslim that wants to kill us, yet it didn't matter. And most of them are not even American citizens. Now, some of them are, but we were doing this since the 19th century. What is wrong today?
Yeah, Randy, thanks for the call. The only thing I would say, I don't think we want it to end like it ended at Ruby Ridge or like it ended in Waco. Those were not great examples of FBI intervention, you'll recall. In terms of the mosques, we've talked about this before. The Clarion Project kind of front lines on this. And of the couple thousand mosques in this country, they've identified maybe 80 that have ties to radical Islamists, that have ties to jihadists and terrorist organizations. And so it's the same conversation we have about this. Is that a small percentage? It is a small percentage. Is it a big number, a concerning number? It is. And the FBI should be able, and law enforcement should be able to investigate and go where the facts lead, even if the target is a mosque or the imam of a particular mosque. There's no question. Scott on the west side.
Oh, hey, Dan, thanks for taking my call.
Amy's here, too.
The real issue here, Dan, is the Muslim religion itself, which calls for the transformation of the entire world to be Muslim. That is what's occurring, and it has been occurring since the beginning of time. And until we face that fact, we're not going to be able to stop it. We've got to stop the influx of Muslims into the United States. It's not just a small percentage of them that are radicalized. It is a small percentage of them that are acting on what the religion calls for.
Thanks, Scott. I mean, I would go back and encourage people to listen to our interview yesterday with Zuhdi Jasser from the American Islamic Forum for Democracy. It's posted on upstream-ideas.com. You can listen to it via our podcast as well. But there is a thoughtful, moderate Muslim voice in this country who fled oppression in Syria, his family did, whose voice needs much more bandwidth, much more profile, because there's a partner in peace in this country.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Another warm, humid day, a high near 88 degrees, and we can't rule out a shower or thunderstorm around in spots. Then tonight, partly cloudy, mild, a low of 66. And tomorrow for your first day of fall, we're going to have some sun, still warm, a high of 88 degrees. Let's get the latest on the roadways. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. We're already seeing some delays on inbound I-57 and the Bishop Ford Freeway with that left lane closure before 95th. I-57 is 18 minutes. I-80 to the Ryan. Bishop Ford 17. Outbound fine at 15 minutes in both cases. Inbound Ryan getting a little congested now between 18th Street and downtown Chicago. The other expressways and tollways right now look great. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. They'll also keep you cool this summer with temporary air conditioners for any situation, big or small. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com. Reserve now for summer festival season.
Hey, you've heard how Automated Systems excels at assisting companies with systems integration and FDA compliance, but they're also a staffing leader. They supply handpicked elite leadership, subject matter experts, and proven technical professionals in engineering, quality control, and FDA compliance to support the life sciences field in executing mission-critical projects. ASI provides highly specialized pros to deliver projects on time and budget. Don't pay a lot more to a big consulting firm, and don't trust the big temp agencies to supply the talent you need. Call Laz, my friend Laz at Automated Systems, when failure isn't an option. ASI is retained by all of Chicagoland's Fortune 500 life sciences companies, from big pharma to startups, and excel through a culture of excellence in execution. For a staffing, compliance, or automation evaluation, call Laz now at Automated Systems at 844-HIRE-ASI or visit AutomatedSYS.com. That's 844-HIRE-ASI or AutomatedSYS.com.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing, independently owned business bank. Signature Bank listens to your story, learns about your business, and sticks with their customers. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Mick O'Rourke, co-founder, president, and CEO of Signature Bank. We founded Signature Bank in 2006 with one goal: to serve as Chicago's business bank. Now, 10 years later, we've seen that vision turn into a reality. We'd like to help your business realize all of its potential. My co-founders and I have many years of experience in commercial banking. When we learn about your business, we sit down across the table from you. When you have concerns, we pick up the phone to talk them through. We know your name and your story. At Signature Bank, when we make a commitment, we deliver.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, Equal Housing Lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, you're talking about what we know from the last 24 hours about the Chelsea bomber. Also just having a larger conversation about law enforcement in these cases, since the Chelsea bomber's father did call the FBI in 2014 and said, I think I got a terrorist on my hands, and the FBI dismissed the case without action.
And not even putting Rahami on the FBI database, the potential terrorist list. I mean, that's the least they could have done, don't you think?
10 times in the last 2 years, slipped through the cracks. John in Peatone, you're in Chicago's Morning Answer. Hey, John.
Yes.
You're on.
You know, I have to wonder if we don't have a situation where the the higher level law enforcement agencies don't want to do anything because they know they're never going to get the authorization to convict. The Attorney General is just not going to let that happen. I think that's the same thing that's going on with Hillary. I think what happened there with James Comey actually is the best thing that could have happened, because the only way we can defeat the Democrats is to put somebody and keep somebody there that is in a position to be charged, either now or later. Had we charged her back then, they would have put someone else in that might have been a little bit more electable. So, it starts at the Attorney General. I was a policeman at one time, and if you know that all your work that you're going to do is never going to go anywhere, why do it?
Yeah, okay. Thanks for the call, John. I mean, when I say look at the FBI, for example, since that's the agency that's most relevant here, that certainly includes the civilian oversight of the FBI in addition to the actual agents. The kind of a top to bottom review of the agency's policies and procedures and protocols, as well as an examination of these specific cases. I think all of the above here. Ed in Oak Brook.
Yeah, you know what? Whenever I hear like the politicians, especially the liberal Democrats and the media, talk about bringing in more asylum seekers, what's the question I have is, what is the benefit to this country? We're not benefiting at all. In fact, it's a big burden on all our communities. Obama's not putting these people by Beyonce's house or Oprah's house or Little Kim or whatever their names are out there.
Wow, you're so
He's putting them in like Villa Park, Stone Park, Melrose Park, Oak Park, and then they got to live with the community, and then they never want to assimilate with the community and want to have these separate things. So in other words, this is one big additional burden that's being put on all of us. And now we got to be vigilant. We can't even go to a bike event or a running event because we got to worry about some garbage cans blowing up. I don't get it, Dan. I really don't.
Thanks, Ed. Andy in Elwood. Hey, Andy. Hey, Andy. Hey, Andy, you're on.
Hello?
Yep, you're on.
Hey, I'm wondering if this guy slipped through the cracks, his own father called the FBI and told him, maybe we have a terrorist on our hands. Maybe it's like with the president telling immigration or ICE, whatever, turn your back to these illegal immigrants. Is it something like that going on with the Obama administration with possible terrorists too?
Thanks for the call, Andy. I mean, I don't know. I can't imagine a directive along those lines, but I mean, this is why, since this has happened multiple times now, and to some extent you could say nearly a dozen times in 2 years, a full proctological exam is required of the intelligence community.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Townstone Financial is synonymous with great rates, low closing costs, and phenomenal service to the thousands who have completed purchases and refinances with us since 2002. Hi, my name is Barry Sterner, owner of Townstone Financial. Let's hear about the Townstone experience from one of our customers.
I'm Christopher Nowak, a real estate agent with Castline Properties here in Chicago. When a buyer contacts me with questions about the loan process, what type of loan products are available, it's easy for me to put that buyer in touch with Townstone Financial, and specifically Zach Schwartz, Barry Sterner, the whole team over there at Townstone. I have confidence that the team at Townstone is going to make me look good. The result at the end of the experience is that the customer is always happy with the service they receive.
Remember, nobody values your business more than Townstone Financial, and I'm always available to answer your questions. Call me now, Barry Sterner, at 312-896-2111. That's 312-896-2111. Or go to townstone.com. That's TOWNSTONE.com.
Townstone Financials, Indiana, Michigan, Wisconsin, Florida, Illinois, mortgage licensee 6629 and NMLS 136639. Equal housing lender.
AM 560, The Answer.
And coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, civil unrest in Charlotte, North Carolina after a suspect is killed by police. We'll explain.
And a police-involved shooting in Tulsa prompts Hillary to send a message to white people. We'll have that at 5:37.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
68 degrees at 5:31. Witnesses say the black man killed by police in North Carolina yesterday was unarmed and had a disability. According to them, police in Charlotte say 43-year-old Keith Scott was shot and killed because he was armed and posed an imminent and deadly threat.
At this point, all we know is they're in the apartment complex parking lot, and this subject gets out with a weapon. They engage him, and one of the officers felt a lethal threat and fired his weapon because of that.
Chief Kerr Putney with the Charlotte-Mecklenburg Police Department. Police in Tulsa say the drug PCP has been found in the vehicle of an unarmed black man shot and killed by a white police officer there. Police telling the Tulsa World newspaper a vial of the drug has been confirmed to be found inside Terrence Crutcher's SUV. Attorneys for the Crutcher family still say the killing was unjustified.
He's walking slowly. He's not threatening to anyone. And they could have easily resolved this matter with less than lethal force.
They claim the video footage of the incident shows Crutcher was not armed as well. Federal prosecutors say the man accused of planting bombs in New York and New Jersey bought components online and recorded a video of himself igniting blasts in the backyard. Prosecutors also say Ahmad Rahami vowed in handwritten jihadi journals the sounds of bombs will be heard in the streets. For the second time in as many weeks, the U.S. has flown a pair of supersonic bombers over South Korea. It's a show of force to North Korea. Filmmaker Curtis Hanson has died at his Hollywood Hills home. He was 71. He may be best known for his screenwriting, Oscar in L.A. Confidential, but his tale of Eminem's Detroit hip-hop scene, 8 Mile, was the last of his great movies. Curtis Hanson was 71. City officials says the Chicago Police Department may hire more than 500 additional officers as it struggles to deal with an uptick in city gun violence. A city clerk in Harvard is facing charges of possession of child pornography. Andrew Wells was arrested at City Hall on Monday. Philadelphia beat the White Sox 7-6. Cubs over Cincinnati 6-1. Jay Cutler now on the injured list with a bad thumb. And the Bears linebacker Lamar Houston will miss the rest of the season with a torn ACL. The news service of Amtrak. Great memories are made on trains and not in traffic. Experience travel the way it should be. Go from Chicago to New York for $85 with Amtrak Saver Fares. Book now at amtrak.com/saverfares and see where the train can take you. Restrictions apply. 5:34 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Sean Hannity finds Trump's approach refreshing.
Donald Trump is a risk taker. Donald Trump is not afraid to speak his mind. Donald Trump, showed that you can take a position of strength and take a risk and stand on your position. And lo and behold, instead of making an apology tour like Obama, other countries will respect your strength. He's willing to say what needs to be said. It's actually refreshing.
The Sean Hannity Show. Afternoons at 2, right before Joe Walsh at 5 on AM 560. The Answer.
Half-price Wing Tuesdays now at B-Dubs. Any size order of traditional wings costs half as much, making Tuesdays twice as good. Buffalo Wild Wings. Wings, beer, sports. Valid at participating locations for a limited time.
My name is David Hochberg, and I'm Vice President Lending at Pearl Mortgage. If you have a child going to college or getting ready to go to college, I have great news. I am hosting a college planning seminar Thursday, September 22nd at Oak Brook Financial Center in Oak Brook Terrace at 7 p.m. You should attend if any of these apply to you. You have a child going to college within the next 4 years. You have nothing saved and have no clue how you're going to pay for college. You want to learn about how a college coach can help you and your child locate the perfect college. You want to learn how a college coach can assist you in obtaining scholarships and financial aid. To register for the free seminar being held Thursday, September 22nd at the Oak Brook Financial Center in Oak Brook Terrace, go to am560david.com. Seating is limited, so register now at am560david.com. Now the exciting part. Pearl Mortgage is an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358 RMLA, NMLS 19186.
536. Let's get a quick update on the roads at our AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Eastbound 8094 stop and go from Burnham to Kennedy Avenue due to ongoing construction. We're seeing delays on the inbound Stevenson, just a bit heavy Harlem to Kedzie. Ryan is 20 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57 already 30 minutes. I-80 to the merge, Mission 425. Traffic service of the city of Sheboygan, Wisconsin. In Sheboygan, Wisconsin, there really is no traffic, and the weather is always perfect for something. Biking, surfing, art museums, culinary experiences, and fun, all just a couple of hours drive away. Get out-of-town information at visitsheboygan.com. That's traffic, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Clouds and sun today, warm, a little more humid, with the shower and storm around, especially sinking out of the north from the Wisconsin, Milwaukee to Lake Geneva area down into northern Illinois. Around the afternoon, high 88 and 66 overnight, 67 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 6. And Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Money Hour Radio Show, Saturday afternoons at 3 on AM 560 The Answer. Brought to you by Pure Shale Financial Group.
Hey, Joe Walsh here. Listen to Freedom any time of any day. Go to walshfreedom.com/podcast. Freedom returns at 5.
Dan and Amy, okay, we've got 2 police-involved shootings that, as Amy previewed, have generated unrest in Tulsa and Charlotte. Why don't we start with Charlotte?
Yeah, last night there was 2 outbreaks of violence. One happened at 11 p.m., one happened at 2:30 a.m., and what they did was, block down the main interstate there in Charlotte, North Carolina. They flipped over a cop car. You can see them. They're jumping on top of a cop car. They're upset that 43-year-old Keith Lamont Scott, father of 7, was fatally shot while police were trying to serve a warrant. Here's the police chief.
At this point, all we know is they're in the apartment complex parking lot, and this subject gets out with a weapon. They engage him, and one of the officers felt a lethal threat and fired his weapon because of that.
So the warrants weren't for the man, but we're not sure if this man was connected.
Absolutely. They were not specific to the deceased, but we don't know if there's a connection of the deceased with the suspect that we're looking for.
So they're in an apartment complex parking lot, but the family, Dan, this morning is saying that, no, he didn't have a weapon in his car. He was reading a book in his car. That's what they came out and said.
Mm-hmm.
And protesters say, well, the police didn't fatally shoot Rahami. Why did they fatally shoot Keith Lamont Scott?
But as far as my child, my nephews, I am concerned. I'm worried about them. Something has to be done, whether it's our city leaders, whether it's our state leaders, these presidential candidates that are coming onto the scene. Something has to be done. There was a terrorist, New Jersey, New York. He was taken alive. They said they wanted to question him. So because of you wanting to question him, does his life mean more than our black men across the nation? It doesn't make any sense.
Yeah, well, unfortunately, I understand that she's upset, but that statement is nonsensical. Police were not shooting to maim in New Jersey because you don't shoot to maim. This isn't a television show. Mm-hmm. You shoot center mass, and that's the same thing that happened in Tulsa. Point of order on this to get some of the facts out about the case. The officer involved in the shooting, Brentley Vinson,
African American.
Yeah.
Yep.
Detectives recovered a firearm at the scene.
Mm-hmm. And the family saying that was planted. I'm just telling you what.
Well,
yeah.
of course.
There's always.
I don't know, but these are the facts as we know them right now. So let's kind of fill in the picture before, listening to the bloviations of civilians saying, they shot to maim a terrorist and they shot to kill him. It's absurd. It's just, it's unfortunate.
Well, there's a lot of anger. I mean, 12 police officers were injured last night, 7 protesters.
Right, including one police officer hit in the face with a rock.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and tear gas was required to break up the crowd that had assembled. So that's one case. Vinson has been put on leave, the officer involved.
Mm-hmm.
He's been with the department 2 years, and, of course, you heard the protesters, Black Lives Matter, the apocryphal hands up, don't shoot, signs that said stop killing us, and so forth. I understand the concern, dismissing it. Again, when it's a police officer, go wherever the facts lead. But let's get some facts out before we have the carefully crafted, convenient stories of people that are understandably upset because it's a relative or because it's a black man. But it was a black man in uniform, too. So how do you square the circle there?
That's the sticky point of that. And then what happened in Tulsa, Oklahoma, is a bit different.
Terrence Crutcher, 40-year-old African-American male, he was shot and killed by a white female police officer, her name Betty Shelby, who'd been with the department for 5 years. His car was in the middle of the road, his SUV in the middle of the road. Apparently, it had broken down.
Mm-hmm.
That's what the family says. And
that's why police arrived at the beginning, because he needed help.
And he was, but he was, according to the police officer's attorney, he was unresponsive to police officer commands. And he apparently defied orders to stop. He was walking with his hands behind his back, and there's helicopter surveillance of him. He walks to his SUV, apparently in contravention of police orders. They think he may be on something. It turns out PCP is recovered from his car.
Right.
And he looks to reach into his SUV, and that's when one officer fires a taser and Officer Shelby fires her weapon. And he's taken to the hospital and pronounced dead at the hospital.
And according to Betty's attorney, she thought he was going into the car to reach for a weapon.
And let's hear from Officer Shelby's attorney.
Based on the radio traffic that I've listened to, it's at least a minute, maybe up to a minute 20, a minute 30. So at that point in time, when he gets to the edge of the roadway, he looks at her and again starts to put his hand in his pocket, and that's when she draws her gun and says, "Sir, I want you to follow up my commands." Her intent now is on arresting him. She knows that he's under the influence of something. So now he's not following commands. She's afraid he could have very loose clothing on. So she draws her gun on him and says, "Sir, I want you to get down on your knees. Get down on your knees." He refuses that command, turns and starts walking along the passenger side of his police car, her police car, and Officer Shelby decides to follow. As he walked over to the driver's side of that SUV, she was yelling at him to stop for probably at least 10 to 15 seconds. He gets to the window of the SUV and has his hands in the air, looks down the side of the car at Officer Shelby, and his left hand goes into the window. Officer Turnbow also saw it. Both of them reacted simultaneously, Turnbow firing his taser, Betty Shelby firing one round from her service weapon. She's worked in this part of town for quite some time. And, you know, just the week before, she was at an all-black high school homecoming football game. She's not afraid of black people.
Been with the Tulsa Police Department for 5 years, has Officer Betty Shelby. Her husband also, Tulsa police officer. And one of the other issues associated with this case is, I mentioned, the helicopter overhead.
Right.
And there's chatter on the helicopter. And one of the officers, I think it's Shelby's husband.
Oh, really?
I think so. I think he's in the chopper. He says, as you see Mr. Crutcher walking towards his SUV, he says it looks like a big bad dude. You know,
right.
That's, you know.
Well, that's what the 911 calls
issue.
came in. Somebody said there's a guy running from a vehicle. He left the engine running. The doors are open. He's acting erratic. That's why they showed up to the scene, because that 911 caller was afraid of him.
Well, right. And here's the thing. I mean, the car broke down in the middle of the road. Is it possible? Sure, it's possible. Is it unusual? Yeah. Your car is breaking down.
You normally pull to the right. Yeah. I mean, if your car's breaking down, you get out of the way.
Well,
But this guy, I mean, he's had former weapons violations.
1996, he was arrested for illegally possessing a firearm and resisting arrest.
That's a long time ago, though.
Well, I understand.
I mean, in this case, was she overzealous? Do our police officers need more training to handle situations like this? I mean, and then how long do you wait for you to freeze, get on your knees? I mean, his hands up wasn't enough because he still kept, disobeying orders and walking away from her.
Well, and then his hand wasn't up because it was reaching into his car, and that was the moment.
Mm-hmm. And the attorneys for the family say that, oh no, the car window was rolled up, and they brought out all these big poster board pictures saying he wasn't reaching in the car because the car window was all the way up.
The family attorney, Benjamin Crump.
Yes, Crump.
On the record, this was an unjustified killing. The position of the family is resolute on this matter. You all may recall when this matter first started breaking that the public information officer suggested that the officer shot Terrence Crutcher because he reached inside the car. That was the narrative that they put out before we saw the video. And even yesterday, some representatives put forth that she shot because he reached inside the automobile. You all see him walking with his hands up. He's walking slowly. He's not threatening to anyone. He is daylight. They have several officers on the scene, and they could have easily resolved this matter with less than lethal force.
Well, there's two issues there. One is whether he was reaching into his SUV. From the video I saw, it looks like he is.
Yeah, same with me. But then in both of the videos that we see, you never see the fatal shot being fired.
No, I mean, right. So it's always the angles and what kind of, you can only capture so much. This isn't, again, Hollywood. So that's one issue. The other issue is, could this matter have been resolved without the use of lethal force? It is worth noting that the two officers who reacted simultaneously, one fired her weapon, the other fired his taser. So
in this case, I understand why the Justice Department is investigating. I mean,
well, I don't actually. I don't know that
it come to this.
I don't know that
your car breaks down. Now you're dead.
No, I don't know that the Justice Department needs to investigate all these matters. I think unless there's reason to believe that that the local prosecutor is incapable of investigating cases like this, then I don't know why we need the thumb of the federal government in all of these cases. This is civil rights violations.
Small town, they all know each other, and it's
small town. It's Tulsa, Oklahoma.
Yeah, but everybody knows each other. The prosecutors and the police officers.
So they don't do their jobs.
No, I'm sure they do their jobs well, but having an extra agency around in a case like this, I completely
No, I don't like the federal government is there to pile on. The federal government is there, particularly the federal government as its current constitution, and constitution's a funny word to use in connection with this regime.
Well, the question is...
But, excuse me, but the reason it's there is to prosecute racial politics. That's why it's there. It's there so they can issue another report like they issued about the Ferguson Police Department or the Chicago Police Department, although they didn't need to do that because Tiny Dancer put together his own star chamber. Mm-hmm. So, the idea that the Justice Department, Loretta Lynch's Justice Department, is coming in here to help and provide the expertise that these hayseeds in Tulsa don't have, that's nonsense. I don't buy that for a minute.
Well, do you think the police officer should be charged? Because that's what they're demanding. The protesters last night, fire Betty. They want her charged.
Well, yeah,
murder.
I don't believe in mob justice. So what the mob is chanting is not persuasive to me. I don't know. I've got mixed feelings about this. I mean, again, it's one of these stories of if you just comply with the officer's command, that's de-escalating it. And it wasn't like they rolled up on Crutcher and opened fire. And you see this through the procession of the video. The Tulsa, Oklahoma one is a tough call.
See Alan West, Michelle Malkin, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, Mike Gallagher, Townhall.com political editor Guy Benson, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh at Freedom Summit Chicago 2016. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com.
Heat and humidity continues today, a high of 88 degrees, a shower or thunderstorm mainly in the northern suburbs today. And then tonight, partly cloudy and mild, a low of 66. And for Thursday, your first day of fall, it's going to be summer-like, at least in the weather-wise speaking, because we're going to have a high of 88 degrees once again and plenty of sunshine. Any sun shining on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, good morning, Amy. Good morning, Dan. Not a lot of sunshine on 8094 eastbound. Slow going thanks to road construction with delays from Burnham Avenue in Lansing across the state line to Kennedy Avenue. It's getting heavy on the Chicago expressways, too. The Edens and the Kennedy are still okay, but the Eisenhower slow. Manheim to first 33 minutes, Thorndale to downtown. Outbound 30, northbound I-55, jammed 126 to past Weber with a crash reported. Then it's 42 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 34. The Bryan, 22 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishopport, both 35 minutes already from I-80 to the merge. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
On AM 560 The Answer, we talk about the important issues that affect your world. Things like the economy, education, and foreign policy. There's always so much going on in the news that we don't always have the time to focus in and talk about the big ideas behind the important issues. Enter Upstream Ideas online at upstream-ideas.com. Upstream Ideas, in partnership with the Illinois Policy Institute, provides the kind of information that informs the policy discussions happening here on AM 560. At Upstream Ideas, you'll broaden the debate, move beyond partisan assumptions, and challenge accepted beliefs. Upstream Ideas goes against the current and thinks upstream. Go online now at upstream-ideas.com. That's upstream-ideas.com. You'll be armed with new information and fresh perspectives to help encourage you to make the state of Illinois and the United States of America a bit freer, a bit more just, and a bit more civilized. Upstream-ideas.com. This is Bob.
Hi, I'm Bob.
His company put their trust in Air Comfort to keep their business running cool all summer. Bob knows the value of proper chiller maintenance that includes end-of-season service, so he'll be ready for next summer.
I'm ready.
Dave, on the other hand, thought he could put off servicing his chiller at the end of last season and had 3 complete shutdowns this summer. Needless to say, his staff and customers were not happy. Moral of the story? Preventative maintenance will save you time, money, and trouble. As the hot weather ends, you need maintenance on your chiller before the start of next season. Air Comfort has one of the largest commercial and industrial service groups in the Chicago area, with a dedicated factory-trained chiller department that takes a scientific approach to analyzing your system and determining any needed maintenance. They know how to work on large equipment, perform an analysis of your chiller, and get you ready for next season. Call 708-345-1900 or visit aircomfort.com. Air Comfort, providing the right climate for business since 1935.
No one likes being stuck in traffic. It's the same gut-wrenching feeling you have when you're stuck with your company's health insurance plan. Like most employees, you worry about paying too much for health benefits and prescriptions. Unfortunately, you probably are. But the good news is you don't have to. I'm Jim Lorenz from Clear Insight, and I have helpful solutions to lower your costs and improve your employee benefit package. Don't change the prescription drug, change where you buy it. I will give you a tool that will provide the cost of your drugs at the pharmacies near you. You'll seek out a gas station just to save 10 cents a gallon. So why don't you do the same with your health insurance and prescription drug benefits that could save you hundreds? I apply the same concepts to your health benefits. With plan design and simple technology, we're able to grant the rewards that help keep that copay in your pocket. Our next workshop is coming up Friday, September 30th at the Dunham Woods Riding Club. This is a perfect opportunity to learn what we do and how to save your company and your employees money. For more information about our upcoming events, go to clearinsightbenefits.com.
AM 560, The Answer.
All right, Freedom Summit 2016 is coming back to Chicago on Saturday, October 29th, and it's happening at the Chicago Westin Northwest in Itasca.
The keynote dinner speaker will be Lieutenant Colonel Alan West. Our keynote lunch speaker will be Michelle Malkin. AM 560's Mike Gallagher will also be there, as will Guy Benson of townhall.com.
We'll also be there, and just added our keynote breakfast speaker, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, author of the New York Times bestselling book, Defeating Jihad. Now, premium gold tickets are sold out, but guess what? We still have premium silver and economy tickets available, starting at just $39. So go to freedomsummitchicago.com to buy yours. That's freedomsummitchicago.com, freedomsummitchicago.com, and join us on October 29th.
It's news, opinion, insight. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
A couple years ago, I had a severe accident which disabled my right hand and caused chronic pain and complete suffering. It took many years before really we figured out exactly what it was or how to treat it. My whole goal was I did not want to be on high levels of pain medicine. After some time, I went to see Dr. Kenneth Candido to try to figure out the source of the pain and a solution and how to solve it. He listens. I'm going to cry because it's so real. I've been through so much, and he wants to help his patients, and he's there for me whenever I need him.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. I have a simple message for you. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
Hiring people is probably the worst part of my job. It's such a hassle, the searching, the sorting through resumes. Most people don't have the right experience.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. Right from the start, you could tell it was going to make hiring a lot easier. One click and my job was posted to 100+ job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them. Thumbs up if I liked them, thumbs down if I didn't. No emails and attachments, printing up docs, phone calls, none of that.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I had the person we needed within 1 week. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Whether you're looking to fill one position or 20, find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 100+ job sites. ZipRecruiter, the fastest way to hire. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
About 6 years ago, I was diagnosed with congestive heart failure. I went from being able to work 14, 16 hours a day with no problem to where I could barely walk a block to the store without having to stop and rest. I went on to the phytonutrients about 6 months ago, and within a couple of months, my medical doctor had cut my prescriptions down in a little bit smaller dosage. The next time I went back a month later, I walked into the doctor's office and he says, "My gosh, what's happened to you? You don't even look like the same person." He looked at my legs and the swelling had gone down, my blood pressure was down. The venous stasis ulcers that I had had on my legs for the last 4 or 5 years because of the poor circulation were all healed, and I'm feeling far better.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com. Use promo code CHICAGO.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Obama decries crude populism in his address to the UN at 6:06.
And lunchroom ladies are under fire. We'll explain why. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're watching right now. The latest on unrest in Charlotte this morning and in Tulsa, Oklahoma from Fox with the latest developments there. Locally, Aurora cousins are sentenced for their parts in a terror plot. A vigil held for a teen found burned by family members in Chicago. The Harvard City Clerk is charged with possession of child pornography. Injuries continuing to pile up for the Bears, and the Cubs clobber the Reds. Clouds, sun, and warm today. Forecast after Fox, WIND Chicago News Time, 6.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. It was a rowdy night in Charlotte, North Carolina. Protesting a deadly police shooting.
We're not giving up. We're sick of this. We're tired of everybody killing the innocent black people.
But Charlotte Police Chief Kerr Putney says Keith Lamont Scott wasn't so innocent.
As they engage him, he is armed with a handgun that we found on scene as well. Makes some imminent threat to them, and because of that, at least one of our officers fired.
Scott's family says no way. He was carrying a book, not a gun. Protesters shut down part of a highway, smashed police cars, and clashed with cops who used tear gas. About a dozen officers were injured, and a Walmart was looted.
It was closed at the time. They busted the glass windows. There was glass all on the floor that employees have now cleaned up. I spoke to one employee who told me that they ended up taking technology. I saw a flat screen being carried from the parking lot back into the store. I also was told by a Walmart employee that iPads were taken.
Felicia Lawrence with Fox 46 TV in Charlotte. Death to your oppression. That's the last entry in Ahmad Rahami's journal, full of anti-American ramblings. The terror suspects now charged in Saturday's bombings in New Jersey and New York, where Fox's Tanya J. Powers is live.
Dave, Ahmad Khan Rahami faces several federal charges, including use of weapons of mass destruction, in addition to state charges in New Jersey. Court papers say he started amassing bomb components in June, buying citric acid, circuit boards, and other items on eBay. His journal, which he was carrying when he was arrested, accused the U.S. government of, quote, slaughter against the Mujahideen. This was he was on the FBI's radar back in 2014 after his father reported him following a domestic dispute. But officials say nothing turned up at the time, so a full-blown investigation wasn't open, Dave.
Tanya, IRS Commissioner John Koskinen, who some Republicans tried to impeach last week, faces more questions today at the House in the hearing into the Tea Party scrutiny. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Skies are partly cloudy. We have 66 degrees at 6:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. 2 men are dead following a shootout on Chicago's far south side. Police say the victims began shooting at each other early this morning near 123rd and South Halsted. Both died after suffering gunshot wounds. City official says the Chicago Police Department will hire more than 500 additional officers as it struggles to deal with a city uptick in violence. Chicago Police Superintendent is expected to announce plans on the hires a little later on today. Former Illinois National Guard soldier who pleaded guilty to terror-related charges has been sentenced to 30 years in prison. Hassan Edmonds was sentenced Tuesday in U.S. District Court in Chicago. Earlier, his cousin, 30-year-old Jonas Edmonds, received a 21-year prison sentence. City clerk in northwest suburban Harvard faces charges of possession of child pornography. Andrew Wells was arrested at City Hall Monday. Authorities say images of child porn were found on an electronic device that belonged to him. Indiana Governor and Vice Presidential nominee Mike Pence is declining to rule on a pardon request involving a wrongfully convicted suburban man. Tribune says the governor's general counsel told Keith Cooper's attorney they must first exhaust all options for appeal. The Country Club Hills man chose to be freed from prison in 2006 after he was offered immediate release with a felony conviction on his record or face a new trial. A Los Angeles federal judge has ruled a woman accusing NBA player Derrick Rose of rape cannot remain anonymous at her upcoming civil trial. A U.S. district judge ruling Tuesday that the woman, who only has been identified in documents as Jane Doe, must be identified. The 30-year-old woman claims the former basketball MVP and two of his friends raped her in 2013. Rose denies those claims and contends the sex was consensual. Philadelphia beat the White Sox 7-6. Cubs over Cincinnati 6-1. Jay Cutler hurt. Lamar Houston gone for the remainder of the Bears season. The news, a service of Staples. Staples has low prices every day on the office items that you use most. Right now is a great time to stock up and save with the Buy More, Save More event happening in Staples stores. The more you buy, the more you save on everything your office needs. Staples, make more happen. 6:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
My America is really easy. I can sum up my America in about 9.5 seconds.
The Joe Walsh Show.
It's my life, it's my money, it's my family, it's my business. I'll be responsible for everything. Government, get the hell out of my life. 9.5 freaking seconds.
The Joe Walsh Show. Weeknights starting at 5. Right after Sean Hannity at 2 on AM 560. The Answer.
That might have been 8.5 seconds.
Life can be unpredictable. That's why you should take control of your family's future now with an estate plan bundle from LegalZoom. Not sure whether you need a last will or a living trust? LegalZoom's network of independent attorneys in 48 states can help you decide which one's right for you without billing by the hour, since LegalZoom isn't a law firm. Plus, updating your estate plan as your family and assets grow couldn't be easier. Enjoy your life. Use LegalZoom for the legal stuff. LegalZoom. Legal help is here.
America is taking the lead in energy,
leading the world in oil and natural gas production.
I vote to keep it going.
With the right policies, we can produce, refine, and supply
more oil and natural gas.
And more abundant energy
means more affordable energy for American families.
A more secure America.
Jobs,
opportunity, and economic growth for our children
and grandchildren.
That's why this election,
I'm voting
for American energy.
Learn more at voteforenergy.org.
Join us and become an energy voter.
Brought to you by American Petroleum Institute.
I just love CertaPro painters. You know, they've been to our home twice now, painted our chipped front porch and my son's bedrooms. Sharp lines, vibrant colors. And you know, fall is right around the corner, the season of colors, so now is the perfect time to update your home. Whether it's a bold new warm color for the dining room or a fresh take on your home's exterior, call CertaPro painters to transform and protect your home before cold weather arrives. Plus, the holidays will be here before you know it. So now is the perfect time to give your home that updated look you've been wanting. Call now to schedule your fall painting project. 1-800-GO-CERTA. I trust CertaPro painters in my home. They were nice guys. They cleaned up after themselves. There wasn't a single drop of paint anywhere except on my beautiful walls. Each CertaPro painter's business is independently owned and operated, so you'll feel confident knowing that these are local business owners who are part of your community. Call now for your free fall painting estimate at 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's 1-800-GOCERTA. Or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
6:07. Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 traffic center time. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. The inbound Kennedy now has a 5-minute delay from Canfield to Central. Outbound just a little heavy around Sayre. The Edens is still fine. Inbound Eisenhower, 50 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Jammed Wolf to Harlem. Outbound 35 minutes. Stevenson, delay starting at LaGrange Road, 50 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Farther south, there's a delay. 126 to past Weber after a crash. Ryan, 25 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 35 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Eastbound Adams Tollway slow Barrington Road to be 453 with a stall in the right lane. Traffic is also a service of Staples. Staples has low prices every day on the office items you use most. Right now is a great time to stock up and save with the Buy More, Save More event happening in Staples stores. The more you buy, the more you save on everything your office needs. Staples, make more happen. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
Today, clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm around. Very warm and more humid with a high of 88. Tonight, it will be partly cloudy and mild with a low of 66. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
Quite a lightning show over Lake Geneva this morning, and those heavy storms are beginning to sink across the Illinois-Wisconsin border southward this morning. 69 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 6:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy starts now on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Turnkey IT, giving you the freedom to focus on your business while they handle the technical stuff. Turnkey IT.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
I shot a subject, won't show me his hands.
That looks like a bad dude, too, to be honest with you.
You all want to know who that big bad dude was? That big bad dude was my twin brother.
She clearly believed him to be under the influence of some type of narcotic, possibly PCP, because she is a drug recognition expert.
Happy Cinco de Mayo! The best taco bowls are made in Trump Tower Grill. I love Hispanics.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy.
Can you explain what that was in the open?
The singing?
The singing of tacos.
Whoa. Pitchy.
It's not pitchy.
Oh.
At least I can carry a tune, unlike you. I think your band days are over.
I'm one of the great balladeers of the 21st century.
Oh, yes, you are.
So that was Lynn Miranda from Hamilton.
Oh, okay.
Singing Trump holiday tweets. Well, you could probably turn that into a holiday album. So we'll have that. We'll do a little comparison. Lynn Miranda singing Trump tweets as compared to a Brit reading Trump tweets and see which you like more. Okay. We'll also have Trump's got a couple of commercials up, one from the Trump campaign, one from the NRA. We'll have that. And also this, I want to just get people's minds going. It's still early. It's only 11 past 6 o'clock here.
Yeah.
So you know what Ivanka Trump's Secret Service name is, right?
Oh, no, I don't. What is it? Because I know she just recently got protection.
Yeah.
It's not Tiny Dancer because that's already taken.
That's right.
With Chicago and his security detail, our mayors. Hot Blonde?
No.
Wow. Mommy Likey?
Mommy Likey. Nope. That's not it either. And that's actually quite disturbing.
How about sophisticated one? No.
You need
Honey
to,
Making Money?
You need to shorten it.
Okay.
One name.
Ivanka.
Ivanka's Secret Service name is Ivanka.
Ivanka.
That could be. That's my Secret Service name.
Oh, okay.
Hers is Marvel.
Oh, really?
They're all M's. Hers is Marvel.
Mm-hmm.
Trump's is Mogul. Melania's Muse. What should Amy's Secret Service name be? We'll take your calls. Thoughts on that all morning. 312-642-5600, Turnkey.pro answer line.
What should yours
64636DA, Turnkey.pro text line. I don't need Secret Service protection.
Intelligence. That's for you, not for me.
Intelligence. Amy's Secret Service name.
Yours. Mine would be, I don't know what mine would be. Real?
All right,
Ditzy.
This is why I've asked for help from the audience because Amy doesn't have a lot of great suggestions at this point in the morning, maybe as the show progresses.
Yes.
So we'll take your calls in the morning on that. But I do, so let's just get the wheels turning here.
Okay.
And we'll revisit it. But I wanted to get to what President Obama had to say yesterday in his address to the UN. By the way, partner in peace, President Hassan Rouhani also spoke yesterday. And attendant to his remarks before the international community, the director of the United States Holocaust Museum said maybe this is a good opportunity to denounce the Iranian state's Holocaust distortion and denial and its general anti-Semitism. You know, like when they chant death to Israel in their, when Rouhani and the mullahs get together and chant death to Israel and, burn the Israeli flags and burn the American flag. Remember the Cartoon Festival where the Iranian foreign minister denied that it occurred, and there was evidence that it did. A cartoon festival soliciting entries denying the Holocaust. That's our partner in peace. There's a guy you want to cast your lot with.
Yeah, or give him billions of dollars to.
Yeah, and a glide path to nuclearization on top of it. That's not destabilizing in the region. Our friend and ally, Israel. With friends and allies like us, at least to the Obama regime. And just as the predicate to what Obama had to say yesterday, this piece in Wall Street Journal by Anders Fogh Rasmussen. He's a former prime minister of Denmark. He's also a former secretary general of NATO.
And he's also going to be on the show tomorrow.
He is at 7:05. So set your clocks to that because that should be a fascinating discussion. This is a very serious person. His op-ed today, and get your calls on this as well as we move to Obama, the United States must be the world's policeman. All the discussion, we can't be the world's policeman, former Secretary General Rasmussen, the United States must be the world's policeman. From my former positions as Prime Minister of Denmark and Secretary General of NATO, I know how important American leadership is. We desperately need a U.S. president who is able and willing to lead the free world and counter autocrats like Putin, a president who will lead from the front, not from behind. Zing. He goes on to write, only the U.S. The U.S. will only be able to shape the solutions the world needs if its leaders act with conviction. When America retrenches and retreats, it leaves a vacuum that will be filled by crooked autocrats across the world. The Obama administration's reluctance to lead the world has serious consequences, and none is greater than the behavior of Mr. Putin. While Europe and the U.S. slept, he launched a ruthless military operation in support of the Assad regime in Syria and tried to present Russia as a global power challenging the U.S. in importance. The next president must acknowledge this inheritance. American isolationism will not make the U.S. and other freedom-loving countries safer and more prosperous. It will make them less so and unleash a plague of dictators and other oppressors. Pretty strong words from a former NATO Secretary General from Scandinavia, and I have to say, persuasive words. Agree with him completely.
Yeah, and I can't wait for him to be on. He'll be on at 7:05 tomorrow.
That's right.
For sure.
That's right. And so that backdrop, and we'll get to your calls. I know a lot of people are interested in offering their Secret Service name for Amy.
And for Dan.
And I'm interested to hear them.
312-642-5600. Secret Service name for Dan.
But now, to compare what Secretary General Rasmussen, former NATO Secretary General, wrote in his Wall Street Journal op-ed to what you heard from President Obama yesterday, including this just rich line.
A crude populism, sometimes from the far left, but more often from the far right, which seeks to restore what they believe was a better, simpler age free of outside contamination.
So,
free of outside,
free of outside, I can't remember the word he used, participation.
Okay.
But the crude populism, this coming from a left-wing, yes we can, hope and change populist, now decrying quote-unquote crude populism. I mean, that is just delicious. And then he went on to say something that was pointed at those who are inclined to support Donald Trump, clearly.
Today, a nation ringed by walls would only imprison itself. So the answer cannot be a simple rejection of global integration. Instead, we must work together to make sure the benefits of such integration are broadly shared.
So,
what is he talking? Can I have a translation, Dan?
So you protect your borders, then you're imprisoning yourself. That's essentially what he's saying, and that's how it should be translated. That's what Trump should do on Monday. This is what the president says. We protect our borders. We're imprisoning ourselves. Let's just be real honest. I know what they're saying. They can't say they're for open borders. They can't say that people can come and go as they please without consequence other than to the safety of the American people, because that's their policy. That's what they're saying. And he should pin that on Hillary Clinton and this regime as a first order of business on Monday night and for the rest of the campaign. That's what President Obama was saying with his course correction on global integration, which was the theme of his speech. And then it goes on to kind of imputing domestic leftism internationally, where we got to integrate globally, of course, and continue the progress we've made, the Obama's pat approach here, rhetorical approach. But we have to deal with the externalities of global integration, like the distribution of income. So then he gets into income inequality and the rest of it. But I just thought that, him decrying crude populism, combined with the idea of protecting a nation's sovereignty is the nation imprisoning itself, were important points from his speech that should inform and be used, frankly, as ammo for Trump against Hillary. All right, now to important matters. Amy's Secret Service name.
And Dan's
No,
Secret
nobody's
Service
interested
name.
in me. They don't want me to be protected.
This is going to be mean. I'm just letting you know right now.
Well, the meaner the
Let's
better.
go.
Andy in Hinsdale. Hey, Andy.
Oh, see?
Andy and
I think her name should be Whistler.
Whistler?
Whistler. Because my dad, when I was a kid, when I would say something dumb, he would say,
See?
"Do you hear a whistling sound when the wind blows through your ears?"
Okay.
Thanks, Andy.
Thanks for the call, Andy. Whiffler.
Whiff.
Yeah, whiff.
Okay.
Whiff. Whiffler. Cool whip. Sue in Evanston.
Oh, hi. I'm voting for Cat Lady.
Cat Lady.
Thank you, Sue.
Thanks for the call, Sue. That's
Probably the only nice response we'll receive.
I don't.
Cat Lady?
I don't think that's a compliment.
Cat. Well, I love cats.
I know.
I'm going to be a cat lady. It's coming, Dan.
You know what the?
It's not if, it's when. It happens when I have 40 cats in my house.
You know what the parenthetical descriptor in Cat Lady is? Creepy. Creepy Cat Lady.
Just because you don't understand them.
Tom in Oswego.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Well, keeping with the M theme, I think, Amy, you should be mysterious, and Dan, you could be macho.
Oh, thank you. Thanks, Tom.
That's a good one.
Yeah, so
I look at you and I think macho man.
That's right.
I want to be a macho man.
Exactly. You look at me and you think Village People. Yeah. Macho.
Do you want to be?
Hello.
The Indian chief? Or the
Joe in Naperville.
Officer?
Yeah.
Hey, before I get to Amy's name really quick, that wall thing really did a bad job for China, didn't it? That Great Wall?
Yeah, exactly. Also, you don't put boundaries around your home or any.
No, we don't do that. We don't have fences or
No.
gates.
But going with the M theme, how can Amy be called anything else but MILF?
Whoa, hello. This is a kid's show.
That's very nice. That's a compliment. I appreciate that.
Oh, my goodness. I don't know what that acronym stands for. Holly from Hudson tweeted, Secret Service stand for Amy Baffled.
That's a good one.
And finally, somebody who understands me, crooner for me.
Oh.
Yeah, the pipes, recognizing the pipes. David in Riverside.
Yeah, I've got Amy's code name. It's Triple L for long-legged luscious.
Ooh, wow.
That's
Hello.
nice.
Boy, this is getting a little,
It's awesome.
getting a little
So glad
sultry
So
in
glad
here.
I came to work today.
Gary in Shorewood.
Hey, this is a nice one. A dear friend of mine was a snorter as well, so I think Amy's is Snortster. And Dan, yours is Cubano.
Cubano for my cigar.
for your
Because I'm a
cigars.
cigar aficionado. All right, that's pretty good.
That's good.
Catherine Mazanowicz. I'm kind
Wow.
of mangling that name. Mazanowicz?
Sure.
Mazanowicz?
That's perfect, Dan.
Sorry about that, Catherine. For me, Caesar.
Oh, Caesar.
Finally, somebody recognizes my stature. Jerry and Homer Glen.
Good morning. For both of you guys, it would be Professor Peabody and Sherman.
And that's not bad. Thanks, Jerry.
Listen to podcasts of Dan and Amy from the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Oh, it's coming. The rain is. It should be hitting the area around 7 a.m. this morning. And then
Wait,
otherwise.
somebody's got a code name for me, Pussy Galore.
Oh, my.
I think that's for me.
Oh, as I mentioned, a storm is coming.
The Bond character,
Yeah,
you know, of course.
Sure. We're going to have a hot day, humid, sticky around here, a high of 88 degrees. And then tomorrow, sunshine, a high of 88. Let's get the latest. How's the 8094 Borman Expressway? Here's Jim Telemonte.
Well, it's slow. Amy and Dan, good morning. It's slow going now from Torrance Avenue in western Lansing to Calumet Avenue in Munster due to the ongoing construction. Westbound, it's fine. The Edens has some slight delays on the spur past Waukegan Road, that it's a bit congested approaching the junction. The Kennedy, now 28 minutes, O'Hare to downtown, outbound 24. The Eisenhower, 50 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 35. The Stevenson, jammed LaGrange Road to Cudsey, 55 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive. The Ryan, 26 minutes, 95 to downtown. I-57, Bishop Ford, both 35 minutes, I-80 to the merge. And it's slow on the eastbound Adams Tollway, Barrington to be 453 after a stall, then Bussy to the Kennedy. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Hey, have you waited to buy a MyPillow? Well, you're in luck. For this month only, when you buy one premium MyPillow, you still get that second one for free, but you also receive 2 additional Go Anywhere MyPillows. So you're actually getting 4 pillows for the price of 1. It's the best offer ever. And nearly every AM 560 host endorses MyPillow because it is the best. The National Sleep Foundation agrees because they made it their official pillow. It's washable to remove all the ickies that cause allergies, acne, and asthma, so it's a great health investment, and I promise you will sleep better. If not, you have a 60-day full money-back guarantee. Visit MyPillow.com, click the radio listener special tab, and use the promo code Amy. 2 premium MyPillows and 2 Go Anywhere pillows for the price of 1. Or call 800-489-0201. That's 800-489-0201. Mention the radio listener special and use the promo code Amy.
When it comes to commercial vehicles, it's time to drill down to the details. If you're not driving the new Sprinter Worker from Mercedes-Benz, your van just isn't cutting it. The Sprinter Worker takes payload up a notch, carrying up to 3,512 pounds. Its cargo volume is cranked up too, with over 300 cubic feet of space. When it comes to safety, it's unmatched, but it's the price that'll really hammer it home. The new Sprinter Worker starts at just $32,495. It also has a service interval of up to 20,000 miles and the highest residual value in its class, according to ALG. Put that in your pipe and weld it. Huge capacity, small price, starting at just $32,495. The all-new Sprinter Worker, starting at only $32,495. Mercedes-Benz, vans born to run.
MSRP for a 2016 Sprinter Worker excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep. Options, model availability, and actual dealer price may vary. See dealer for details.
Attention market watchers. Until recently, the market hadn't seen back-to-back days of 500-point losses since November of 2008. What if you had no market exposure? What if you didn't have to worry about the markets? How would you sleep? Leave the volatility behind. Hi, this is Jack Taboda. Our proprietary income strategies provide reliable, inflation-protected income, guaranteed for life, with no market exposure. Call me at 630-777-7955. That's 630-777-7955. You've worked hard to build your wealth. I work hard to protect it. 630-777-7955.
Insurance products may be presented and guarantees are based on the claims paying ability of the insurance company represented. Securities offered through ProEquities Inc., a registered broker-dealer and member FINRA SIPC. Advisory services offered through Harvest Investment Services LLC, a registered investment advisor. Taboda and Associates and Harvest Investment Services LLC are independent of ProEquities Inc.
AM 560, The Answer.
There it is, my theme song. Dan and Amy
wants to be a macho man.
I don't want to be.
Oh, you are.
Thank you very much. I've opened up a Pandora's box, and I'm loving it.
No, you're laughing over there, and I don't know what you're laughing at.
Amy's Secret Service names. Ivanka's is Marvel. Donald Trump's is Mogul. Melania Trump's is Muse. And we've got a lot of suggestions for Amy. Are you ready? Are you ready for this one?
Yes.
Lifeguard. Let's
What's
see.
wrong with I was a lifeguard.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
For 4 summers.
A
liberal lifeguard? What?
No, here's a whole string of them. Rami Mommy, Viking Vixen, Blonde Ghetto Mama, middle-aged moderate. That's harsh.
I'm not middle-aged.
Property
I'm
tax
29.
laden maiden.
Property, what is it?
Property tax laden maiden. That's not bad.
What about for you? Come on.
Tennessee tuxedo for me and bikini genie for you. Tennessee tuxedo. Let's see here. Sinkowski from Office Space, the guy, the inventor of the jump to conclusions mat.
Right.
Okay.
That's
All right.
a good one.
Yeah, that's good. Yeah.
What else do you have over there?
For you, William Hung.
Excuse me.
From American Idol. That's a criticism of your singing.
Oh,
that's what that is.
Rude.
Yeah.
You should be William Hung.
What are you talking about? Let's see. Yeah, those are the ones I think I can read on the air. Prom queen. Yeah, that's.
No, I was homecoming queen. It's a big difference at my high school.
Yeah, but you're the. I mean,
it's
not the
homecoming queen.
It's not the official queen. You're the queen in the sense of most proms attended.
Oh, you're right. That's right. Prom queen.
That's not bad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Asked to 9.
Or you could go the other way, but staying in the same theme. Carrie.
Oh.
Yeah.
I like that bucket.
There's only one radio show in Chicago talking about today's biggest stories and telling you what they really mean. That show is this one. Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Collectors of coins, currency investors, and people who want to check out fantastic history make plans to attend the Illinois Numismatic Association's 57th Coin and Currency Show at the Tinley Park Convention Center this Thursday through Saturday. Admission and parking are free. Just bring your photo ID. This is one of the largest shows in the country with hundreds of dealers, the best coin dealers from all over the country. See displays valued at millions of dollars, U.S. and world paper money, gold and silver bullion, and a lot more. If you're a serious collector, an investor, or just want to find out more about coins, currency, and collectibles, this show is a can't miss. Saturday, lots of events for the kids, including a treasure hunt and a youth auction. Friday, don't miss the Fox Valley's coin auction at 5. Preview is before that. The Illinois Numismatic Association's 57th Coin and Currency Show, this Thursday through Saturday at the Tinley Park Convention Center. Admission and parking are free with your photo ID. Get more information at ilnaclub.org. That's ilnaclub.org.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
I'm going to read.
I messed that up. Sorry.
You're so busy with your Secret Service
I know,
names.
Well, I thought your Secret Service name should be Low T.
Ouch.
Well, because you do advertising for the Low T centers.
Nice segue. Boy, macho man. Guys, when it comes to your health, do you know your numbers? You may know your blood pressure and cholesterol, but do you know your testosterone number? I know my number. This Low T Center made it easy. I went to the Low T Center, took a simple blood test, and with their on-site lab, I was able to get my results in minutes. If you're a man over 40 and have noticed a decline in energy, stamina, or libido, you may have low testosterone. Low T levels make you feel tired and grumpy, can raise your cholesterol, and even cause weight gain. And in honor of Prostate Health Month, Low T Center is offering a $50 testosterone and prostate level test. So, guys, if you don't know your numbers, haven't met your deductible, or don't have insurance, you should take advantage of this offer. It's quick, easy, and you'll get results in about 20 minutes. So do yourself a favor and call 630-409-4305. Tell them Dan Proft sent you. That number, 630-409-4305, or visit them online at lowtcenter.com.
And now, coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, they're back.
Our actual Secret Service names, Diamond and Silk, at 6:36.
But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Streets of Charlotte, North Carolina, quiet this morning, following yesterday's angry protest over the fatal police shooting of a black man who was reportedly armed. Authorities used tear gas to try and break up demonstrations, during which 12 officers were injured and marked police vehicles were destroyed. This man was out in the protests.
I'm a black guy, so when I see this, I'm thinking any given moment I get pulled over or stopped or a cop comes, it's likely I'm going to get shot, armed or not.
TV footage showing dozens on I-85 looting semis and setting contents on fire. There was a demonstration in Tulsa, Oklahoma over the shooting of an unarmed black man by police.
On the record, this was an unjustified killing. The position of the family is resolute on this matter.
Hundreds rallied outside police headquarters, calling for the firing of Officer Betty Shelby, shot 40-year-old Terrence Crutcher during a confrontation in the middle of a road that was captured on police dash cam and helicopter video. The head of a pharmaceutical company, Mylan, will appear before Congress today to defend the rising cost of the life-saving EpiPen. Price has gone up 500% since 2007. Police in suburban Detroit this morning say they've taken one person into custody after finding 4 siblings dead and their mother critically hurt after an attack in their home in Dearborn Heights. 2 men are dead following a shootout on Chicago's far south side. The victims began shooting at each other this morning near 123rd and South Halsted. The 911 emergency phone lines in DeKalb and Ogle counties are down, according to their police departments. In a Facebook post, the DeKalb Police Department said both the city and county 911 lines are down, and police are not sure how long they will be out. Ogle County Sheriff's Office saying the same. Vice President Joe Biden will headline a Chicago fundraiser for Representative Tammy Duckworth next Wednesday alongside Senator Dick Durbin. That from the Sun-Times' Lynn Sweet. Duckworth currently locked in a hotly contested Senate race against incumbent Republican Mark Kirk. Philadelphia beat the White Sox 7-6. Cubs over Cincinnati 6-1. Jay Cutler hurt. Lamar Houston done for the season with a torn ACL. The news service of the Milwaukee Airport. At the Milwaukee Airport, low fares meet low stress. And all the major airlines are matched with major convenience like speedy curb-to-gate service, nonstops nationwide, and affordable on-site parking. Start your next trip the easy way at flymke.com. 6:34, a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The clock is ticking. The most important political event of the year comes to Chicago on October 29th. It's Freedom Summit 2016, featuring Lieutenant Colonel Alan West, Michelle Malkin, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. And just added, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, author of Defeating Jihad. Tickets start at just $39 and are available at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Air Comfort, the Ayn Rand Institute, and by healthinsurancementors.com.
Remodel your kitchen with Galaxy. Buy one cabinet and get one free with free financing and design services. Call 773-783-8300.
No matter what type of business you're in, having a strong business banking partnership can help your bottom line. I'm Jeff Boundy, president of Cornerstone National Bank and Trust Company. We strongly believe that trust, service, and relationship are the cornerstone of a successful business banking partnership. Customers like Rick Williams of Pump Supply agree.
Hi, my name is Rick Williams, owner of Pump Supply Incorporated. As a business owner, I recognize the importance of relationships. I need a bank that understands my business and is able to respond quickly and creatively to the needs of my company. Cornerstone has been a valuable business partner and has helped me grow my company and seize opportunities as I come across them. Whether it's providing a line of credit or financing the acquisition of equipment or real estate, Cornerstone has been there for me every step of the way.
Thanks, Rick. Please visit cornerstonenb.com, or I invite you to give me a call at 847-654-3000 to explore a business banking partnership.
Equal Opportunity Lender. Member FDIC.
6:36. His Secret Service code name is Top Fuel. Let's check the roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center with Jim Talamonte.
Good morning, Mike. On the eastbound Adams Tollway, we're seeing heavy delays. First from Barrington Road to Meacham with a stall in the right lane. Then from Bussey onto the Kennedy, where it's heavy out of the River Road toll. 33 minutes O'Hare to downtown, outbound 42. Eden's 27 minutes, Lake Cook to Montrose, outbound 19. The Eisenhower, 55 minutes, Thorndale to the post office, outbound 45. Stevenson, 58 minutes, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 40. Ryan is 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. I-57, 35 minutes, I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford, 30. Seeing delays on 80-94 eastbound from the Bishop Ford to Calumet Avenue. Traffic service, the Cook County Clerk's Office. Cook County Clerk's Office is recruiting suburban poll workers to serve during the general election. Support the democratic process while being paid $175 or $325 depending on the position. Apply at cookcountyclerk.com/judges. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. For us, clouds and sun, warm and more humid. Showers and storms drifting into the area a little after the 7 o'clock hour this morning. And those are drifting from the north, about Lake Geneva, Wisconsin, and drifting south. We'll keep our eyes on those because some of those could be severe. High 88, partly cloudy and mild, low 66. Currently 69 at O'Hare, 72 along the lakefront. Next news at 7. Continuous news coverage at 560theanswer.com. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
Dan and Amy will continue taking your calls and texts
oh my gosh.
For Secret Service names, for Amy in particular. I'll tell you what, the people tweeting in, texting in, calling in with Secret Service names, for both of us, really, it's very telling. It's a kind of a look into people's actual view of you.
Oh,
you know, what they really think
too.
of you.
Or of you too. Right.
The collective you.
Yeah.
The we.
Okay.
The us. Yeah. All right. So this should be continue to be illuminating over the next couple of hours. We did have one who suggested Snorty? What was it?
Yeah, snorts.
But because of your laugh. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Another one. 1.5 Christians.
So
pretty good.
I'm the one. You're the half.
Trump has 2 new ads up. One produced by the Trump campaign. And one produced by the NRA. Let's grab them both before we turn our attention to the First Ladies of Punditry, Diamond and Silk. The Trump campaign put out an ad. It's not a campaign. It's a movement.
It's a movement, not a campaign. Its leader, Donald Trump, builder, businessman, success, doing what others called impossible. Donald Trump's priority? You. Dreaming big, building bigger, united for family, jobs, country, defined by freedom. Standing together, pushing ahead, leaving the past behind, changing our future. Together, we'll make America great again.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
I think it's an effective feel-good ad, particularly when you see the visuals. The idea it's more than a campaign; it's a movement. I think that's a good angle of incidents.
Well,
also,
what are the visuals? What are they showing?
Well, the best visual when you heard him say "leaving the past behind," it's a picture of Bill and Hillary.
Oh, really?
I like that. But I actually like this ad better, although it's more narrowly tailored because it's a gun issue, but it's a personal safety issue, and that continues to be an important issue generally. This is from the NRA on behalf of Trump.
She'll call 911. Average response time, 11 minutes. Too late. She keeps a firearm in this safe for protection. But Hillary Clinton could take away her right to self-defense. And with Supreme Court justices, Hillary can. Don't let Hillary leave you protected with nothing but a phone. The NRA Political Victory Fund is responsible for the content of this advertising.
Well, that's good. And the heartbeat, dun, dun.
Yeah,
You're in the room with her. You feel fear.
Don't let Hillary leave you protected only with a phone. All right. Well, that presents some of the backdrop for Monday's debate. And for more insight on that, we're pleased to be joined by the host of The Viewer's View. They are Diamond and Silk. Diamond and Silk, thanks for joining us again. Appreciate it.
Thank you for having us.
So, Diamond and Silk, your guy has made great strides since we last spoke with you. Basically, it's a statistical dead heat, including in the battleground states. Virtually a statistical dead heat in the Electoral College right now, or a dead heat in the Electoral College. And I just wonder what you've thought of Trump's move over the last several weeks as he's given policy speeches and been a little bit more disciplined than perhaps he was right after the conventions.
Well, I think he's doing a phenomenal job. He's staying on message, which is what we need, and he's getting the message out there. He's waking up the masses. He's shaking awake people that didn't really think about the election, probably wasn't going to vote in the election. And I tell you, people are starting to register to vote in this election just to vote for him because they love what he's saying. That's right.
Now, Donald Trump is in North Carolina again yesterday trying to court the African-American vote.
Diamond and Silk are in North Carolina.
I know. That's why they're in North Carolina. And I was just wondering, were you at his rally? Do you go to all of these rallies? And is his message resonating with some of your African-American friends?
We do go to his rally. We wasn't in the rally last night. We actually in Cleveland, Ohio, getting ready for this town hall.
Oh, man.
His message is resonating with the African-American community. It's resonating because he's telling the truth. And when he tells the truth the way he tells it, people wake up and take a listen. He couldn't be soft-spoken on this. He had to be hardcore, say it, call the facts like they are, and just speak it. And he's shaking awake black people, and we love it.
Well, but are some of your friends, are they going to vote for Donald Trump?
Oh, yes. We have people coming up to us as black that's voting for Donald Trump. The one thing that the media, they don't understand, Donald Trump has a lot of black closeted supporters that will be coming out voting for him, even though they're not vocal about it. They will be voting for him in the general election.
So how did you react to President Obama's speech over the weekend where he implored black voters in this country to vote for Hillary Clinton? Otherwise, and if they didn't turn out to vote for Hillary Clinton, he would take that as a personal insult.
Well, you know, I was appalled. I was offended. The mere fact that he was the first African-American president, we feel like it's an insult that he didn't do anything for black communities. That's black people, especially the black people in Chicago, the same city that he's from. So that's an insult. Another thing, it's an insult to tell us to vote for a woman that you said would say anything to get a vote. So why would we vote for her?
And it's really an insult to be supporting and campaigning for someone that is a crook.
She's a crook, and we'll never let her off the hook. We're not going to vote for her. Black people need to stand the course. We're voting for the businessman, Donald J. Trump.
Now, I'm a recovering Democrat. I have been for a while. Were you ladies both Democrats at any point in time in your lives?
Wait a minute. Say that again. Repeat the question again.
Oh, were you former Democrats?
Are you recovering
Absolutely.
Democrat?
We used to be Democrats until we switched our party back in September to Republican to vote for Donald J. Trump. I'm not telling people to switch to Republican. I'm telling you to switch to Trump to vote for him. We need the outsider to come in and clean up this insider mess. That's right.
Now, over the last couple of days, we've seen 2 more police-involved shootings involving black men. Both were killed, one in Charlotte and one in Tulsa, Oklahoma. Now, the one in Charlotte, your home state, that was also a black police officer. The one in Tulsa was a white female police officer. Different facts around those shootings. But I just wonder how much, what your reaction to those events are and the subsequent protests, and how much you think kind of the issue of law enforcement is going to play into the minds of black voters when they consider their choice for president.
Well, the one thing that I wish that especially black people will see is that why aren't we protesting against black-on-black crime? That's what I would want to see. Listen, what happened in Charlotte was unfortunate. However, if you take and you point a gun to an officer, anything is bound to happen to you. I really don't want to speak on what happened until all of the facts come out, because a lot of times we jump to judgment, we start going off and going crazy, and then when the facts come out, we be looking crazy. So I want to wait based off of what the media is portraying. I think this is all political. I really do. and this is going to be on the forefront for the debate. I think people should still keep pushing ahead. We want to vote for Donald J. Trump because, listen, we know that all lives matter, but our police officers' lives matter too. They want to go home at the end of the day, and we want our citizens protected. So we got to have a big conversation about what's going on when it comes to police officers and when it comes to citizens. Citizens have to know how to act, how to be. When it comes to police officers approaching, I mean, we all have to be retrained. Everybody has to be retrained on this issue. Right.
So law enforcement and immigration policy in the wake of the terrorist attacks this weekend likely to dominate the debate on Monday night, that first debate. What do you expect/hope to hear from Trump?
I want him to not waver, don't back down. Hey, hit Hillary on the facts. The fact that she's been in public service for almost 30 and 40 years and she don't have a plan. Exactly. The fact that she says she has a plan, but why didn't she have that same plan for Benghazi? Mm-hmm. Yeah. Talk about those things. Why did she have that same plan for knowing how to house emails instead of putting it on her private?
And what is it that she can get did in 4 years that she couldn't get done in 30 years?
Absolutely. And we're not going to believe her because, like Obama said, she will say anything to get a vote.
Now, you ladies are already in Cleveland in preparation for Monday's debate?
No, we're in Cleveland, Ohio. There's a town hall that's going to be held here in Cleveland, Ohio. So we're in Cleveland, Ohio for that. And then we may be in New York for the debate.
You guys are
working out the details.
You guys have blown up. You're everywhere.
I know we are everywhere. We're so passionate about our country. We want people to get out and vote. We want people to vote for Donald J. Trump. And if you're not registered to vote, get registered. That's right.
Now, Diamond and Silk, we've been talking about that this morning. The Secret Service code names came out for the Trump family. Donald Trump is Mogul, Melania is Muse, and Ivanka is Marvel. Now, Amy and I also have Secret Service code names. We're Peaches and Herb. I'm Peaches. And I wonder what your Secret Service. I mean, you must have one now. I mean, you've risen so much in stature. I assume you have Secret Service code names, and we promise not to share them with anybody else if you tell us what they are.
Candy coded. I'm Candy, and Silk is coded.
Candy coded. I love it.
Oh, that's awesome.
That's very good. That's very good. The Secret Service are so creative with their code names.
They are.
All right, Diamond and Silk, the host of The Viewer's View. Good luck with the town hall in Cleveland. And we're going to be at the debate in St. Louis on, what's that, Sunday in October?
Yeah, October 9th.
October 9th. So if you're in St. Louis for that debate, come and find us.
We will. Thank you for having us.
Thanks, Diamond
Silk.
Silk.
Great. And Monday's debate is at Hofstra University in New York. Excuse me, I misspoke.
Hofstra, the Flying Dutchman.
Oh, that's right. Yes. The Diamond and Silk joined us.
Or the Pride.
On our Turnkey.pro answer line.
Before you see it on TV, share it on Facebook, or read about it in the paper. Hear it here first. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
And you remember what my Carlos Danger name is? Remember the Carlos Danger name generator?
Oh, yeah.
In the wake of the Wiener? My Carlos Danger name is Pasquale Scourge, which also wouldn't be a bad Secret Service.
Pasquale Scourge?
Scourge.
Oh, yeah.
Pasquale Scourge.
Okay. Forecast for
Pitch
today.
for the Braves.
Oh, that's right. Yeah. Sure, I know that. It's going to be cloudy. We have clouds right now, and the thunderstorms will be rolling through here within the next hour. Otherwise, it's going to be humid. 88 degrees. Tonight, partly cloudy, a mild low of 66 degrees. And tomorrow, for your first day of fall, we're going to have summer-like conditions, plenty of sunshine and hot, a high near 90. Anything hot on the roadways? Here's Jim Telemonte.
It's heating up, Amy and Pasquale. On the northbound tri-state, we're seeing significant delays now. First in pockets from 115th to LaGrange Road, then it's slow as usual. The Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue. Eastbound Adams Tollway pretty messy. 59 to Meacham after a stall, then Bussy to the River Road Toll. Delays on the inbound Edens, first on the spur starting at Waukegan Road, and 35 minutes Lake Hook to the junction, outbound 21. The Kennedy, already a steamy 40 minutes, so O'Hare to downtown, outbound 43. The Ike, an hour, Thorndale to downtown, outbound 50 minutes. The Stevenson, an hour, 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound 42 minutes. The Ryan, 28 minutes, 95th to downtown. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
I'm Lou Dobbs. The Fed reveals its interest rate plans today. Whole Foods agrees to an EPA fine of more than $3 million. And Comcast getting into cellular. Those stories are next.
Bill Bennett here to tell you about Augusta Precious Metals. The stock market crash of 2008 wiped out as much as 50% of IRA or 401k accounts. Can you afford to lose again if the next crash comes? What if you could store your IRA or 401k where you can see, touch, and hold it in your hands? Well, with the Augusta Gold and Silver IRA, you can transfer retirement savings into physical coins and store them where you can actually hold them in your hands, where you can get your gold fast in a disaster. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 855-222-6993 and receive a free gold and silver IRA guide. There is no obligation. It's rated A+ with the Better Business Bureau. Augusta Precious Metals enjoys a 98% 5-star customer satisfaction rating with TrustLink.org. Trust Augusta. Call Augusta Precious Metals today at 855-222-6993. That's 855-222-6993. 855-222-6993.
All eyes on Washington, where the Federal Reserve wraps up its 2-day meeting on interest rates, and we'll be watching Chair Janet Yellen's news conference, where she's expected to announce whether interest rates will rise or not. Also today, the Mortgage Bankers Association reporting on the latest mortgage application numbers. Comcast telling its investors it will launch a cell phone service in mid-next year. It would limit its service to areas of the country where Comcast is already a cable provider, an area that reaches some 28 million customers. Its mishandling of hazardous waste has led the Whole Foods market chain to reach a $3.5 million settlement with the EPA. Some returned items were improperly disposed of. Please join me for Lou Dobbs tonight, 7 and 11 Eastern on the Fox Business Network. This is the Lou Dobbs Financial Report.
Want to know the secret that all those flipping houses gurus won't tell you? That flipping multi-unit properties is easier and more profitable than flipping single-family homes. With over 17 years of experience, we here at RE Mentor will show you the art of buying and selling multi-unit properties. Come spend the afternoon or evening with our team of experts, and we will show you how to put $10,000 to $30,000 in your pocket over the next 90 days. This 2-hour class will teach you the art of the multi-unit flip and long-term hold. You'll learn how to buy, hold, and sell multi-unit properties with no money down, no credit, and no risk. You risk nothing but have everything to gain. This intensive 2-hour real estate class is coming to the Chicago area soon. Call 1-800-380-5764 to secure your seat now. This seminar is free for the first 30 people that call. Change your life now and learn the art of the multi-unit flip or long-term hold. Call 1-800-380-5764. 1-800-380-5764. Call now.
A storm is on the horizon, and you need to keep the lights on no matter what. Your business relies on the power being on 24/7. It's the lifeblood of your data and computer systems. Weather-related outages from the power company are not acceptable. Your need for a source of power that's reliable 24/7, along with round-the-clock service that can dispatch technicians to your site immediately, is mission critical. Your business needs Charles Equipment Energy Systems on speed dial. These are the big boys, not residential or solar, but reliable industrial generators for emergency backup or events. When you need more than a 100-foot extension cord plugged into a small engine generator, call Charles Equipment Energy Systems. They keep the lights on with rental generators for job sites or power outages. They'll also keep you cool this summer with temporary air conditioners for any situation, big or small. Call 630-834-6000. That's 630-834-6000 or charlesequipment.com. charlesequipment.com. Reserve now for summer festival season.
AM 560, The Answer.
Dan and Amy, the Secret Service codename suggestions are pouring in.
Oh, yes.
The political pit bull and the lipstick liberal.
Wow.
This one for you, the governor. That's for you, Amy.
What about recovering Democrat?
That's okay.
That's too long, though.
Dick Trickle and Liquid Kitty.
Excuse me, Dan.
It's a race car driver.
Okay, whatever.
He is.
I processed that differently, but all right, well, go on.
For you, Amy, Sweetarican.
That's that. Bingo. Whoever sent that.
847, yeah.
Yeah, that's perfect. Sweetarican. That's what my kids are. Sweetaricans.
Something else available now for us, Bradgelina. That could be our.
Right.
That could be our.
We'll get into that. I mean, I can't believe the Hollywood couple born of adultery didn't make it.
I mean, if those two kids can't make it, what chance do the rest of us have? Tom in Deer Park. Hey, Tom.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. Interestingly, I've been poring over WikiLeaks, and you two actually do have a name, and it's quite appropriate. The Professor and Mary Ann.
There you go. Thanks.
Somebody
Tom.
texted me Damie, Dan and Amy, Damie.
Yeah, I'm Mary Ann for Tom because I wear the coconut bra.
Connect with Dan and Amy on the AM 560 The Answer mobile app. Just text the word app to 64636 to download the app today.
Here's microbiologist Dr. Kim O'Neill talking about balance of nature.
Scientific research has shown that many cancers and lifestyle diseases can be prevented with a diet rich in fruits and vegetables. This prevention comes from the phytochemicals in the plants. They fight against oxidants that damage the cell's DNA, causing mutations that lead to disease. I don't take any supplementation, but I take Balance of Nature because I know, I've seen it in my lab, and I know that it works. I've seen the immune response increase, I've seen your DNA repair capacity increase, and I've seen DNA protection. And that, to me, as a scientist, rings so true, and it's only natural.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751. That's 800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
When it comes to commercial vehicles, it's time to drill down to the details. If you're not driving the new Sprinter Worker from Mercedes-Benz, your van just isn't cutting it. The Sprinter Worker takes payload up a notch, carrying up to 3,512 pounds. Its cargo volume is cranked up too, with over 300 cubic feet of space. When it comes to safety, it's unmatched, but it's the price that'll really hammer it home. The new Sprinter Worker starts at just $32,495. It also has a service interval of up to 20,000 miles and the highest residual value in its class, according to ALG. Put that in your pipe and weld it. Huge capacity, small price, starting at just $32,495. The all-new Sprinter Worker, starting at only $32,495. Mercedes-Benz, vans born to run.
MSRP for a 2016 Sprinter Worker excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep. Options, model availability, and actual dealer price may vary. See dealer for details.
Hiring people is probably the worst part of my job. It's such a hassle, the searching, the sorting through resumes. Most people don't have the right experience.
We started using ZipRecruiter about 3 months ago. Right from the start, you could tell it was going to make hiring a lot easier. One click and my job was posted to 100+ job boards, all the top sites.
All of the candidates came to my dashboard, and it's easy to compare them. Thumbs up if I liked them, thumbs down if I didn't. No emails and attachments, printing up docs, phone calls, none of that.
And I couldn't believe the number of great applicants we got. I had the person we needed within 1 week. I don't know how we hired before ZipRecruiter.
Whether you're looking to fill one position or 20, find the best candidates with ZipRecruiter, where your job is just one click away from 100+ job sites. ZipRecruiter, the fastest way to hire. And right now you can try ZipRecruiter free. Just go to ZipRecruiter.com/work. That's ZipRecruiter.com/work. ZipRecruiter.com/work.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
How did the FBI miss the Chelsea bomber? We'll talk to Bill Rosio from the Foundation for Defensive Democracies on the topic at 7:07.
But first, let's go into the newsroom. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, here are the stories we're following right now. Some big storms are rolling into the Chicago area this morning. It may impact your morning commute, and some flash flooding is possible as well. Aurora cousins are sentenced for a terror plot. 911 emergency phone lines in DeKalb and Ogle counties are down this morning, and Vice President Joe Biden expected to headline a Chicago area fundraiser next week. Injuries piling up for the Bears. Cubs clobbered the Reds, and Phillies trimmed the White Sox. Cloudy and more humid day ahead with storms around. WIND Chicago News Time is 7 o'clock.
Fox News Radio. I'm Dave Anthony. It's quiet now in Charlotte, North Carolina, but sure wasn't last night. Protesters shut down part of a highway and got destructive, damaging police cars. A Walmart store was looted. Cops fired tear gas as some threw rocks. About a dozen officers were injured in the anger over a deadly police shooting of a black man.
They said, hands up. He got a gun. He got a gun. Pow, 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 pow. That's it.
He had no gun.
That's Keith Lamont Scott's sister. Police say he was armed, made some sort of threat. They recovered the gun at the scene. There was also a demonstration in Tulsa, Oklahoma.
This is a nonviolent protest.
Demanding the police officer who shot and killed an unarmed black man last week be fired. She's now on leave. Hillary Clinton called the Tulsa shooting horrible, telling Steve Harvey's radio show.
Maybe I can, by speaking directly to white people, say, look, this is not who we are.
The Democrats says we got to improve policing. Donald Trump has in the past called himself a law and order candidate. They have his anti-American writings, have him on video, and say they now know how he built his bombs. And now suspected terrorist Ahmad Rahami is facing federal charges. Fox's Tanya J. Powers, live here in New York.
Dave, those charges include the use of weapons of mass destruction and bombing a place of public use. Rahami was carrying a journal filled with anti-American sentiments at the time of his arrest. Court papers say he started getting together the items for the bombs he's accused of planting in New York and New Jersey as far back as June, ordering some of those components on eBay. A video recovered from a family member's phone shows Rahami igniting incendiary material in a cylinder in a backyard. The fuse lit, a loud noise, flames followed by billowing smoke, then laughter. Dave.
Tanya, woman's in critical condition in Dearborn Heights, Michigan, after an attack that left her 4 children dead, ages 4, 6, 17, and 19. A man taken into custody early this morning in what's being investigated as a domestic violence situation. Fox News Radio. Fair and balanced.
Heavy thunderstorms bearing down on the Chicago area this morning. 7:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. The city of Chicago set to hire nearly 1,000 police officers to fight a 50% jump in murders. Sun-Times says the biggest police hiring surge in 30 years is aimed at helping detectives solve crimes. It's a huge change in approach for Mayor Rahm Emanuel, who has simply relied on police overtime to try and stop swelling gang violence. Sun-Times actually pegs the number the city will hire at 970 over the next 2 years. 2 men are dead following a shootout on Chicago's far south side. It happened early this morning near 123rd and South Halsted. One of the men sitting in a vehicle while the other was standing in the street. Both died after suffering gunshot wounds. The 911 emergency phone lines in DeKalb and Ogle counties are down, according to their police departments. Police are not sure how long they will be out. It is an outage caused by delays and problems with the phone service company. In case of emergency, residents should call their local police department directly. Vice President Joe Biden will headline a Chicago fundraiser for Representative Tammy Duckworth next Wednesday alongside Senator Dick Durbin. That, according to the Sun-Times' Lynn Sweet. Former Illinois National Guard soldier who pleaded guilty to terror-related charges has been sentenced to 30 years in prison. Hassan Edmonds was sentenced Tuesday in U.S. District Court in Chicago. Earlier, his cousin received a 30-year prison sentence for a planned attack on a Joliet armory. City clerk in northwest suburban Harvard is facing charges of possession of child pornography. Andrew Wells was arrested at City Hall Monday following a 3-month investigation. Wells has been released from custody after posting bond. Philadelphia beat the White Sox 7-6. Cubs over Cincinnati 6-1. Jay Cutler hurt, bad thumb. Lamar Houston. The Bears linebacker will miss the remainder of the season with a torn ACL. The news, a service of Staples, with great deals on everything you need printed for your business. Now get 20% back in rewards on all color printing, brochures, flyers, even signs. Printed same or next day. Ends 10/29. Exclusions apply. See store or staples.com for details. Staples, make more happen. 7:04 and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The U.S. Senior and Women's Open, the BMW Championship, the Chicago Half Marathon, NASCAR racing, the Blackhawks Parade. So many festivals and special events. And they all have one thing in common: Master Fence Rental. Master Fence Rental provides professional fence rental services throughout all phases of your construction project, special event, or emergency situation, along with prompt delivery and expert installation. These are the guys to call when you need to maintain temporary safety and security at your site. Master Fence Rental is ready right now now for your next big event or building project with chain link fences, fence panels, and pedestrian barricades that are uniquely designed and built to be sturdy, safe, and attractive with easy installation and takedown. Event planners, show producers, contractors, request a free quote today and get ready to work with the temporary fence pros. Master Fence. Call 866-622-0822. 866-622-0822 or online, masterfencerental.com.
Focus. You need it to run a business, so don't let legal questions distract you. Use LegalZoom instead. Things like lease agreements and employment laws get complicated, but they're part of running a business. That's why LegalZoom built a network of independent attorneys in 48 states. You can rely on them for the legal details without paying by the hour, since LegalZoom isn't a law firm. So focus on growing your business and use LegalZoom for the legal stuff. LegalZoom. Legal help is here.
America is taking the lead in energy,
leading the world in oil and natural gas production. I vote to keep it going. With the right policies, we can produce, refine, and supply
more oil and natural gas.
And more abundant energy means more affordable energy for American families.
A more secure America.
Jobs,
opportunity, and economic growth
for our children
and grandchildren.
That's why this election,
I'm voting
for American energy.
Learn more at voteforenergy.org.
Join us and become an energy voter.
Brought to you by American Petroleum Institute.
7:06. Let's check our roads in the AM 560 Traffic Center. Here's Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. On the southbound tri-state, traffic is stop and go from the Thornton Quarry to eastbound 8094 at Calumet Avenue due to ongoing construction. Edens is 35 minutes. Lake Cook to the junction. Outbound 27 to Kennedy. Now an hour from O'Hare to downtown. 31 minutes from Montrose. 23 in the Express. Outbound 53 minutes to the airport. The Eisenhower's an hour and 5 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Outbound 45 minutes. Stevenson an hour and 5 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Outbound 45 minutes. The Ryan 28 minutes. 95th to downtown. I-57 35 minutes. I-80 to the merge. Bishop Ford 30. Tri-State northbound delays, 115th to LaGrange Road. From the Stevenson to the Hinsdale Oasis, and from the Reagan Tollway to North Avenue, eastbound Adams Tollway jammed, 59 to 53, and Bussy to the Kennedy. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte on AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the AirComfort.com Weather Center. Here's our meteorologist, Kevin Snyder.
A more humid day with a mix of clouds and sun. A shower or thunderstorm around in some spots with a high today 88. Partly cloudy night, low 66. Then partial sunshine tomorrow. Humid with a high 88. And a humid night with a shower in spots, low tomorrow night 69. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560, The Answer.
Currently, we have 69 at O'Hare, 72 along the lakefront. Next news at 7:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
Listen to AM 560 on your mobile device. Now available on iHeartRadio. Online at iHeartRadio.com.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
I shot a subject who won't show me his hands.
He looks like a bad dude, too, to be honest with you.
You all want to know who that big bad dude was? That big bad dude was my twin brother.
She clearly believed him to be under the influence of some type of narcotic, possibly PCP, because she is a drug recognition expert.
Happy Cinco de Mayo. The best taco bowls are made in Trump Tower Grill. I love Hispanic.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So I've got my Secret Service name.
Okay.
My dad helped me out.
Oh, Pops, how's Larry doing?
He's good. So here's
plans for Larry.
Here's the deal. One iron.
Oh.
And now the weather calls this to mind as well. We're taking Secret Service name suggestions all morning, particularly for Amy, because Ivanka has now received a Secret Service name,
so I should have
Amy should have one. So Lee Trevino famously said, in a storm, if you want to avoid getting hit by lightning, just hold up a one iron because not even God can hit a one iron. However,
yes,
this guy can hit a one iron.
Do they even make 1-irons?
I carry a 1-iron, and anybody who's ever played golf with me knows I can stripe a 1-iron. So 1-iron is my secret.
Do you have a 2-iron too in your bag?
No, I don't.
Just a 1-iron?
I have a 1, and then I go to a 4.
Okay.
Some long ball striker.
Yeah. Tearing it up out there on the course, are you?
Well, it's not so much on the scoring. It's more of a distance game for me.
You should bring your A game next time I play golf with you.
So all of you texters and callers and tweeters, 1-iron, I'm done. Focus on Amy for the rest of the
No,
show.
I'm done. I'm Sweeterican. I'm done.
I don't, and it's not good enough for me.
What?
I want to hear more. I'm willing to be persuaded there's a better Secret Service name for you. Now, we're going to be joined by Bill Roggio, who's a senior fellow and editor at Foundation for Defense of Democracy. He's the editor of their Long War Journal. But I wanted to get to this before we discuss the Chelsea bomber with him and the latest information on the Chelsea bomber and the father calling the FBI and the details about the mosque that he attended and so forth. Very interesting little video that Ami Horowitz did, who's a filmmaker, went to Minneapolis to interview Somalis that live in the Minneapolis area, big Somali population,
Huge.
right? And this against the backdrop, of course, of the stabbing attack in St. Cloud by a Somali who is in this country. And the question, is it easy, first question, is it easy to be a Muslim in this country? Listen to some of the responses from, a handful of subjects that he interviewed.
This is the Cedar Riverside neighborhood of Minneapolis. It's known for the University of Minnesota, phenomenal ethnic food, and the export of American fighters to the terrorist groups ISIS and Al-Shabaab. In fact, it's reported that dozens of young Muslims from this community have gone to fight for these organizations. So we hit the street to find out what is going on. Is it easy to be Muslim in America? Or is it hard?
It's easy Muslim.
It's easy to be Muslim. Yeah. Nobody gives you problems.
No, it's no problem.
And you go to school here, obviously.
Yeah.
And the kids, are they good to you? Are they nice to you? Is it tough?
Oh yeah. It's not tough at all.
It's not tough at all.
No.
This is a free country. That's the beauty of it. So we love America. I mean, it's a great country. Freedom of speech, freedom of choice of your religion.
Right.
So we don't have any issues.
So that's encouraging.
Yes, yeah, that wasn't.
Then the next question that was put to some of the same subjects. Okay, that's your perspective on America. Do you prefer, secular American law, or do you prefer Sharia law?
Uh-oh.
Do you feel more comfortable living under American law, or do you feel more comfortable living under Sharia law?
Sharia law. I'm a Muslim. I prefer Sharia law. Sharia law, yes.
You prefer Sharia law over American law?
Of course, yeah. Of course, yeah.
And do you find most of your friends feel the same way?
Yeah, of course. If you're Muslim, yeah.
Sharia law, it says if you steal something, they cut off your hand. So basically, they can leave their stores doors open. Nobody's gonna steal anything because the Sharia is so tight. Usually, they don't do anything. The smallest things usually have big consequences.
He can make his daughter marry somebody.
Yeah, he can. Yeah, he can. He has the authority,
The authority to do that.
Yeah, to do that. Yeah.
So here, how young do you think it's okay?
Yeah, 15.
How do you feel when this whole controversy with the Prophet Muhammad and people depicting the Prophet in cartoons? How does the whole thing make you feel?
That really pisses me off. You know what I mean? Because they know it's a button to push.
That makes me angry, and it's just that everyone gets like the big freedom, and then they don't see that the freedom that they're getting is causing a problem. Now it's causing hatred for other people.
Would it be better if we made it illegal in America to make fun of the Prophet Muhammad?
Definitely, yeah.
Do you think we should make a law that makes it illegal to?
That would be better, yeah.
So you get a sense of the divided opinion. On the one hand, it's easy to be Muslim in this country, and we don't have any problems. On the other hand, we want to impose our will. I mean, that's essentially what they're saying.
And they respect Sharia law more so than laws on the books that are here in America and Minnesota.
No, it's just anecdotal. I mean, it's just a handful of interview subjects that Ami Horowitz spoke to. But I think it's still insightful. I think it's still an important part of the conversation. And joining the conversation now, as promised, Bill Roggio, Senior Fellow at Foundation for Defense of Democracy, editor of the Long War Journal. Bill, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it. Hey, Bill.
Bill.
Bill. Do we have Bill Roggio?
Says we have him on the board. Bill, can you hear us?
Okay. All right. We'll effort Bill again. So those were two of the Sharia law bites, and then now switching to the Chelsea bomber, we understand a couple of things that we've learned over the last 24 hours, including that his father called the FBI in 2014.
He sure did, and he spoke with reporters yesterday about what led to that phone call and why he was scared of his son and called his son a terrorist.
Now he say he's a terrorist. I say, okay.
Why did you call the FBI 2 years
because
ago? What happened?
He's doing bad.
He's doing bad? What did he do bad?
He stabbed my son. He hit my wife, and I put him in the jail 2 years ago.
So the FBI interviewed Rahami's father, and because he made a phone call that thought his son was a terrorist or a gang member, and they interviewed him. And during the interview, he kind of walked it back. And the police and the FBI, I should say, never interviewed Rahami himself. They never interviewed the son because they thought it was a domestic dispute.
And this is not the first time that a terrorist has slipped through the cracks over at FBI. And so it calls the question, what exactly is going on at the FBI that is or is not, that should or should not be going on, I should say. And for more on that, I think we've got Bill Roggio, Senior Fellow at the Foundation for the Defense of Democracies and editor of the Long War Journal. Bill, thanks for joining us.
Always a pleasure, and good morning, Dan and Amy.
So what about that? What about, when a father contacts the FBI saying, I think I have a terrorist problem with my son, and the FBI apparently doesn't pursue it at all?
Yeah, I believe this happened with the bomber in the Detroit bomb, 2009 bomber on the airline. The bomb actually didn't detonate due to a fusing problem. It was executed by Al-Qaeda in the Arabian Peninsula. The father of Abdul Rahman had called the authorities and nothing was done. So this is certainly not the first time. And then, I really think there is a disconnect. There's a very real problem when information like this is teed up to law enforcement agencies and nothing happens. Same thing, the two Boston Marathon bombers. The one brother was identified by the Russian intelligence as being a potential terrorist, and the guy had video on his webpage of a jihadist leader in Chechnya, and yet he was still granted citizenship. And I have
10 times over the
major issues with the surveillance program. We can't process information and act on information that is easily teed up. Why should they be monitored?
Well, 10 times, right? 10 times in just the last 2 years in Virginia, in Minnesota, in Texas, in New York, 10 times. I mean, this is more than kind of, hey, look, we've got 1,000 investigations in 50 states, and so we can't be everywhere at all times. And to dismiss that call that you just heard as well, that's just a domestic issue, and have somebody with the sophistication of an FBI agent not look below the surface, say, well, it's a domestic issue that's predicated on what? That's really distressing.
No, again, we're going off of the information from the father, so it is difficult to assess whether that's accurate or not. And the family did have a lot of problems with the local community due to the operation of the restaurant. However, I would say if that is true, if what he is saying is true, it's a major problem. Everything should be taken seriously, particularly since the son, the suspect had a brother that went to Afghanistan, that fled the law enforcement to Afghanistan, is currently living in Pakistan, and there's apparently record of his travel to the country. So that should be a humongous red flag when something is mentioned in the context of jihadism, and then you have travel overseas. Maybe you should take a closer look.
Yeah, and he wasn't even on the the watch list, which is very disconcerting for me. But Rahami's wife was picked up yesterday in Dubai. His mom, they don't know where she is. Do you think either of these women played a part in this?
Without further information, it is extremely difficult to know, and I hate to cast such a wide net. But one thing we do know is that family phones were used in the detonators for the bombs that were detonated in New York and New Jersey. Now, of course, he could be picking them up as they're being discarded, or perhaps they're being given to him by family members who knew. We don't know, but it certainly raises a lot of questions.
I want to get your take on President Obama's address to the UN yesterday, talking about the course correction that's needed for global integration. That was the theme of his speech. And in addition to decrying crude populism, which was rather ironic coming from a crude populist, he said that a nation ringed by walls only imprisons itself in the 21st century. How did you react to that, and what takeaway from that statement did you gather?
And I'd also argue that the inverse is true. A nation that lets just anyone in without actually checking who they are and whether they could integrate into this American society is also doomed. I think, I don't like Donald Trump's presentation or on immigration. I think it alienates large segments of the American population. But he is correct in some aspects that, are basically what has become somewhat of an open immigration, is by default going to let some people in that are a threat to this country. And, look, as the interviews that you showed, the American, public is being shielded from the fact that there are some real problems within, not with the entirety of the Muslim community, but within the Muslim community of individuals who do not want to integrate into society, who view Sharia law as being paramount to the U.S. Constitution. That type of thing is, that's just and from that subset of Muslims.
Editor Guy Benson, Dan Proft, Amy J.
Northbound Veterans Memorial, 355. It's jammed from I-55 most of the way to St. Charles. The Edens, 40 minutes. Lake Hook to Montrose. The Kennedy, an hour and 15 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. The Ike, an hour and 15 minutes. Thorndale to the post office. Stevenson, an hour and 5 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. Inbound ride at 83rd. There's a crash involving a school bus in the two right lanes. That's traffic. AM 560, The Answer.
Here's David Kolsak, president of Turnkey IT, on how they do business differently.
It's been 20 years, and the business has changed probably 40 times in 20 years because technology changes every year, and you have to stay with it. You have to know where it's going and prognosticate where that is, and our clients really benefit from our knowledge and our experience and the way that we're reading the roadmap. We're putting them on things that are coming out in the future, and if it's not beneficial to the client, we won't be putting them on there. And a lot of people just fly by the seat of their pants. We have a director of information technology that his job is only to scout new technologies and how they can affect a small business. Every business, no matter if it's a funeral home, a manufacturer, a car dealer, whatever, we all rely on our information, and when that information isn't available, your business is shot. So our main purpose is to really do our very best to keep people up 100% of the time, to keep them backed up and make sure that they can do what they do, and we can deal with the technical stuff.
Leave the technical stuff to the pros at Turnkey so you can focus on the important things of your business. Visit turnkey.pro today.
Did you know that if you have mutual funds in your IRA, 401k, or investment accounts, that according to Forbes magazine, you could be paying just 3.17% in hidden fees every single year? 3.17% may not sound like much, but over 10 years, it's costing you 32%, whether your fund is up or down. Hi, it's Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group in Chicago and host of the Alpha Wealth Hour on AM 560. This is just one of the reasons I hate mutual funds, and you should too. You may not know this, but you have far more investment options today without the excessive fees. Learn what they are in my free report.
For some of the debate preparation. So, and it's going to be tricky dealing with Hillary because, look, Hillary, she has a lot of vices, right? But she is a smart lady. She's no dummy. She knows her stuff. And one of the things I told Donald is, look, if ever you're stumped, they ask you, like, who's the prime minister of Zimbabwe or something, and they're going to try to ask those questions to embarrass him. What I would say is, I'm not really sure about that answer. Why don't you ask the professional politician Hillary Clinton? That's great. So let me throw the question at you. What do you want to hear? What do you need to hear from Donald Trump on Monday? Because I'll relate this to him. I'll say, Amy at WIND
really?
said,
nice.
So
no, where he stands, where he stands on national security. That's what I want to hear about, and I would love national security issues. Because that's what a lot of people are afraid. I mean, what I keep hearing from my liberal friends is you want him to be in charge of nuclear weapons. You want him to carry the football. You really trust him. And I keep telling them he'll surround himself with smart people. He won't just.
Well, I know smart person he's surrounded himself with.
Stephen Moore.
Steve Moore.
You know it.
Steve, tell your friends that Steve Moore is going to be carrying the football.
That's right. It's really funny. We just one quick story, and then I got to hop on this plane, which is, we were in Oklahoma at the Oklahoma Ohio State game this weekend. I was traveling with Trump, and we flew in, and we flew. We had this reception. Do you remember Dan Barry Switzer?
I sure do.
Oklahoma.
Yeah, and then Cowboys.
I think he won a Super Bowl with the Dallas Cowboys. Anyway,
and with Oklahoma.
Yeah, pardon?
No, I'm just kidding. Go ahead.
Yes, tell your story.
and anyway, so we're at this house, a beautiful house, 3 blocks from the stadium, and before the Ohio State game, and he's a grizzly old, intense, football coach even to this day, even though he's probably in his late 70s now. And he came up to Donald Trump, and I was standing next to Trump, and he says, he loves Trump. He's a big conservative. He said, "Donald, you cannot fumble the football. You cannot fumble the football."
2 hands.
And that was his advice. I thought it was pretty good advice. Donald, don't fumble the football.
Very good. Yeah.
Fumble, you're gonna win.
That works on a couple of levels. That's right. All right, Steve Moore, hop on that plane.
Yeah.
Thanks for joining us,
All right.
Steve. Appreciate it.
I'll check in with you next week. See ya. Bye.
And he joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
This is the morning show more Chicago radio listeners are choosing. This is Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
A couple years ago, I had a severe accident which disabled my right hand and caused chronic pain and complete suffering. It took many years before really we figured out exactly what it was or how to treat it. My whole goal was I did not want to be on high levels of pain medicine. After some time, I went to see Dr. Kenneth Candido to try to figure out the source of the pain and a solution and how to solve it. He listens. I'm going to cry because it's so real. I've been through so much, and he wants to help his patients, and he's there for me whenever I need him.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. I have a simple message for you. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
What's your caliber? You've heard about Black Rhino holsters for concealed carry, range practice, or competitive shooting. When you see how comfortable and safe they are, you'll want one for all of your firearms. They're handcrafted in Illinois by veterans using 100% virgin Kydex and American-made fasteners. From precision fit and finish to secure retention and quick draw, a Black Rhino is the finest affordable holster. With a lifetime material warranty and workmanship guarantee, Black Rhino has tactical carry and concealed carry systems for every caliber. You and your firearm deserve a Black Rhino. The Second Amendment protects our right to bear arms, and Black Rhino protects those arms. Black Rhino Concealment, we hold your caliber against you. Visit blackrhinoconcealment.com or call 847-783-6499 for showroom info. Use the promo code AM560 for a 10% discount on your first order. That number again, 847-783-6499 or online at blackrhinoconcealment.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer, 2 fatal police shootings were either justified. We'll explain. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here is Mike Scott.
Amy and Dan, good morning. Good morning, everyone. Charlotte, North Carolina, seeing calm this morning after the storm overnight of angry protest over the fatal police shooting of a black man.
It's been growing. People getting shot everywhere, man. So if you're a black guy, you probably should be scared because we're the ones getting shot.
Protests broke out after 43-year-old Keith Scott was fatally shot by a black officer at an apartment complex on the city's northeast side. Police say Scott was armed. The family of an unarmed black man shot and killed by a white police officer in Tulsa, Oklahoma, says that killing was unjustified.
He's walking slowly. He's not threatening to anyone. And they could have easily resolved this matter with less than lethal force.
Crutcher family attorney Benjamin Crump contending the video shows clearly that Terrence Crutcher was not armed. Police in Tulsa confirmed the drug PCP was found in Crutcher's vehicle. New Jersey FBI Special Agent Tim Gallagher says there's an all-out search this morning for anyone who may have assisted bombing suspect Ahmad Rahami. Gallagher says right now all indications are Rahami acted alone.
At this time, we have no information that family members or any other of his associates knew of these attacks in advance. However, we are seeking to question anyone who may have information which may indicate otherwise.
One of the people investigators want to question is Rahami's wife, currently overseas. Police in suburban Detroit say a man has been arrested after 4 siblings were killed. Their mother critically hurt in an attack in their home in Dearborn Heights. The siblings range in age from 4 to 19. City of Chicago is going to hire nearly 1,000 new police officers to fight a 50% jump in murders. Sun-Times says the biggest police hiring surge in 30 years will happen as soon as today. 2 men are dead following a shootout on Chicago's far side. Bear linebacker Lamar Houston done for the remainder of the season with a torn ACL. The news service of Cap Fusion. Need funding for your small business? Move forward with Cap Fusion, a lending partner you can trust. Quick, honest loans, no hassle, no pressure, no hidden fees. Call Cap Fusion, 312-423-7990 or visit capfusion.com.
Sharp lines, vibrant colors. And you know, fall is right around the corner, the season of colors. So now is the perfect time to update your home. Whether it's a bold new warm color for the dining room or a fresh take on your home's exterior, call CertaPro Painters to transform and protect your home before cold weather arrives. Plus, the holidays will be here before you know it. So now is the perfect time to give your home that updated look you've been wanting. Call now to schedule your fall painting project. 1-800-GO-CERTA. I trust CertaPro Painters in my home. They were nice guys. They cleaned up after themselves. There wasn't a single drop of paint anywhere except on my beautiful walls. Each CertaPro Painters business is independently owned and operated, so you'll feel confident knowing that these are local business owners who are part of your community. Call now for your free fall painting estimate at 1-800-GO-CERTA. That's 1-800-GOCERTA. Or visit CertaPro.com. That's Certa with a C.
I've been taking the Balance of Nature fruits and veggie capsules for many years. What hooked me was something I wasn't expecting. I was playing golf with one of my friends, and midway through the round, he looks over at me and says, "What's going on here? You're killing me. Did you get new clubs or something?" It dawned on me that the only thing I'm doing different is taking Balance of Nature. I've been a 15 handicap golfer for a long time. 3 months after I started taking the fruits and veggies, I started dropping strokes off my handicap. Even my sons noticed I was playing better. I told them when I started getting enough fruits and veggies in my diet, I felt better. Better concentration, better swing. When you feel better, you play better.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
7:37.
2 minutes. Ryan, 30 minutes, 95th minute. Lauren, the answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Watching color weather radar this morning. Storms bearing down on Skokie, Elmhurst, Downers Grove, and Naperville at this hour. Clouds and sun, warm and humid throughout the day. Showers and storms will hang around through the morning, high 88, 66 overnight. Currently 69. Next news coming up at 8. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by In the Know with Wealth Management Group, hosted by Craig Bolanos. Heard Sunday mornings at 10.
Don't miss Freedom Summit Chicago 2016, October 29th in Itasca. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com.
Dan and Amy, we're going to talk about those 2 police-involved shootings, one in Charlotte, one in Tulsa, in just a moment. But we're taking Secret Service code names for Amy all morning because Ivanka her code name has been revealed. It's Marvel. Trump's is Mogul. Melania's is Muse. Ivanka's is Marvel. Don't know what the other Trump kids' code names are.
They don't have Secret Service protection yet, but that could change.
It could change.
And Tiffany will never get Secret Service protection.
Why?
Well, she's like the black sheep of the family. They always
She spoke at the convention.
Yeah, she did, but yeah.
Ann B. Davis's bowling ball texted in 1908 and 2005 for us.
Oh.
Pretty good.
That's good.
You get it, the Cubs side.
Yeah, got it.
Dennis in Crystal Lake has a code name suggestion for Amy.
Be nice, Dennis.
Keep it clean, Dennis.
Oh, I always keep it clean, Dan. Thanks for coming to my most deplorable defense yesterday.
No problem.
On Facebook. Hey, it's Stebakini.
Oh, Stebakini.
Oh, thanks for that.
Clever. Yeah, that is really clever.
Stabikini, do you like that better or worse than Sweeterican?
I'm going to stick with Sweeterican.
So that's
Thank
still
you.
the clubhouse leader,
Yes,
Sweeterican,
thank
obviously.
And you're one iron.
I'm one iron. That's right. All right, turning to serious matters, these two police-involved shootings, one in Charlotte, one in North Carolina. Before we get into the details, Hillary Clinton was on the Steve Harvey show yesterday.
I actually listened to this excerpt.
Yeah, and she offered this in response to the shootings in Tulsa and Charlotte, particularly Tulsa, through the oracle of Steve Harvey. She's got a message to you white people out there.
You know, maybe I can, by speaking directly to white people, say, look, this is not who we are. We've got to do everything possible to improve policing, to go right at implicit bias. There are good, honorable, cool-headed police officers. We've seen them in action in New York over the last, 48 hours because of the terrorist attacks. We can do better. We have got to rein in what is absolutely inexplicable, and we've got to have law enforcement respect communities, and communities respect law enforcement because they have to work together.
So
what's with the porn music in the background?
That's just
there?
the bit of music that was part of that interview. I mean, the Steve Harvey show is funky, man.
Okay.
It's maybe we should try that. I don't know.
No.
So here's the question for you white people out there, since that's what it was directed at. Do you hearing what Hillary's saying? You picking up what she's laying down? And the larger question, since she's so adamant and it's so directed to white people, as if this is a race problem that just
systemic racism, she said.
That just involves, white people in this country. Is she guilty of a rush to judgment in the cases of Tulsa and Charlotte? 312-642-5600, turnkey.pro, answer line. 64636DA, turnkey.pro, text line. You can be sure this question is going to be part of the debate on Monday night.
Yeah, I mean, I feel awful. Many of us have seen the video of the 40-year-old father of four.
This is Charlotte.
Yeah, this is a Crutcher. This Tulsa, real quick.
Oh,
I mean, I saw
Tulsa?
that. Yeah, I saw that video. I mean, it breaks your heart because you're wondering, well, what is going on? What is happening? His car allegedly broke down in the middle of a highway in Tulsa. 911 calls were made from people, other motorists who were scared. They said he just stopped his car. Now he's walking around. Police arrive. Apparently, this officer, Betty Shelby,
right?
He had his hands up, but he wasn't stopping, and he kept moving back toward the car. And eventually, he's leaning in the window, through the driver's side window, and they thought that he was picking up a weapon. And so she shot him.
I shot a subject, won't show me his hands.
I shot a subject, he won't show me his hands. But simultaneously, while she was shooting him, another officer, because there was 4 officers on the ground, fired a taser at him. But then there was a chopper overhead, and they described a little bit what happened.
That looks like a bad dude, too, to be honest with you.
Well, so that's, okay, so this, the chopper, which I think that's her husband, Betty Shelby's husband, who's also a Tulsa police officer, he's watching and videoing Terrence Crutcher walking past the police car back to his SUV that's in the middle of the road. His hands are up on his head before he gets to the vehicle, and then appears, it seems to me from the video I saw, this is in dispute, but he appears to reach into the window of his car, through the window of his SUV, and that's when Shelby shoots and another officer fires his taser simultaneously.
But there was no weapon. He wasn't reaching in for a weapon. What was in his car was PCP.
Correct.
And that's a problem because he was acting erratic and he wasn't listening to law enforcement officers.
And you hear from the chopper as well that their viewpoint that he looks like he's on something, as it were, that he's, as you said, behaving erratically. I mean, this is not this is prejudicial, but it is just worth noting there was a 1996 arrest for unlawful possession of a weapon and resisting arrest that involved Mr. Crutcher. That's the only criminal incident that I'm aware of in his record, at least that's been reported to this point. So there's very different opinions on what went down. Let's start with Officer Shelby's attorney describing what his client was processing at the scene.
Based on the radio traffic that I've listened to, it's at least a minute, maybe up to a minute 20, a minute 30. And so at that point in time, when he gets to the edge of the roadway, he looks at her and again starts to put his hand in his pocket, and that's when she draws her gun and says, "Sir, I want you to follow up my commands." Her intent now is on arresting him. She knows that he's under the influence of something. So now he's not following commands. She's afraid he could have very loose clothing on. So she draws her gun on him and says, "Sir, I want you to get down on your knees. Get down on your knees." He refuses that command, turns and starts walking along the passenger side of his police car, her police car, and Officer Shelby decides to follow. As he walked over to the driver's side of that SUV, she was yelling at him to stop for probably at least 10 to 15 seconds. He gets to the window of the SUV and has his hands in the air, looks down the side of the car at Officer Shelby, and his left hand goes into the window. Officer Turnbow also saw it. Both of them reacted simultaneously, Turnbow firing his taser, Betty Shelby firing one round from her service weapon.
And that's disputed by the family attorney, the Crutcher family attorney, Benjamin Krupp, who had a press conference and said this about the confrontation with police that ultimately resulted in Mr. Crutcher's death.
On the record, this was an unjustified killing. The position of the family is resolute on this matter. You all may recall when this matter first started breaking that the public information officer suggested that the officer shot Terrence Crutcher because he reached inside the car. That was the narrative that they put out before we saw the video. And even yesterday, some representatives put forth that she shot because he reached inside the automobile. You all see him walking with his hands up. He's walking slowly. He's not threatening to anyone. He is daylight. They have several officers on the scene, and they could have easily resolved this matter with less than lethal force.
Perhaps. I mean,
overzealous cop. Maybe she was nervous. I mean, who knows?
She's been a cop since 2011 in Tulsa. A number of commendations. It is worth noting again that the reaction from the two officers that happened simultaneous. So they were independently responding to something. Because one of the male officers fires his taser, she fires her weapon. That's an issue for discussion. And it also speaks to Mr. Crump's assertion that he wasn't doing anything that would prompt a reaction from police. Well, you have two police officers that did respond to something he was doing and also perceived him to be, at least according to Officer Shelby's attorney, under some kind of influence and behaving erratically, not responding to orders.
Yeah, they're waiting for the toxicology reports to come back on that. But again, PCP was found in his car.
Now,
and that stuff makes you do strange things.
So, is this a racial issue? Did Betty Shelby
would she have shot him if he was white?
Well,
in 4'5"? I mean,
well, the physical stature of the individual.
He's a big dude.
He is. There's no question. And the physical stature of an individual is part of the calculus, not his race, but the physical stature. Because can I physically subdue him? Or is that not possible, even with a number of officers and him walking away, walking to his car? This is happening in real time. I don't know.
This is why I show my kids this and say, do not do this. When a police officer tells you to stop and put your hands up, stop. Putting your hands up isn't enough. I mean, you have to obey what the police officers are asking you to do.
Right. I mean, they
told him to get on his knees, and he's still standing up. He's walking around. He's moving his arms, It's a split-second decision that she made. I'm sure she, would take it back if she could. Maybe reach for the taser instead of the gun, but who knows? Maybe he was saying something, too, on the ground that we're not privy to that information.
Well, and again, these issues, these police officers, are they going out looking for someone to shoot and kill?
Oh, heck no.
I don't think so. So it's a judgment call that is at issue. But I see this less about race than about judgment in terms of the use of deadly force. And you go back and this is going to be part of the discussion, and certainly prosecutors are going to be involved in that. What was the calculus that the male officer made that fired his taser versus the calculus that Officer Shelby made? Robert in Northbrook, you're on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Yeah, I agree with that. I think it's a question of the use of deadly force. Obviously, one officer felt the taser was fine. You can see all sorts of issues coming in. The male officer, maybe he felt less threatened. But the race comes back in because maybe she felt deadly force. Maybe she wouldn't have used deadly force if the guy would have been white. I mean,
well, there's nothing to suggest that. I mean, maybe
No, but that's the mental thing. That's the whole issue here. If he was a white man, would we have this result? And for people in the United States to claim that when they see a black person, as opposed to a white person just merely walking down the street or coming around a corner, that the light bulb doesn't go off in their head that they type this person. You can be walking to the grocery store and you're typing people.
Sure.
Come around the corner.
Sure. Thanks for the call, Robert. Look, I mean,
we shouldn't have female police officers. Is that what is that what I heard you say?
No, I don't think so.
Mm-hmm.
But here,
gender biased behavior.
But here's the thing. I mean, we talked about this before in the when Marquise Gaines was killed, was run over on State Street and nobody came to his aid. The Cornell University study. Only 1 in 39 people will come to the aid of a person in a distress situation. It's 1 in 55 if the person is black. It's 1 in 27 if the person is white. So do people respond differently? Yes, they do. I'm not disputing that. But that's
her attorney came out yesterday and said she's not afraid of black people.
Well, right, yeah. Well, she's been in Tulsa as a police officer for 5 years, so it's worth noting. But my point is to say that is a separate and distinct issue from the processing that went on at that scene and the decision that ultimately was made. Verlin on the South Side.
Hey, before we start disagreeing, I want to apologize to you, Dan, for yesterday. One of my big old cheeks hit the mute button, and I made you raise your voice. So sorry about that.
Oh, no worries.
Okay, now listen. All right, now this is what I got to say. Now, I'm not going to comment on the one that happened in the housing complex because if it's true that the guy had a gun, we got to find out if it was a legal gun or illegal gun. So I'm gonna leave that alone until the facts come in.
It was also a black police officer in Charlotte. Yeah. It was also a black police officer in Charlotte.
Well, I don't care about the race thing. I'm on blue versus black, not white and black.
Okay.
Okay. Now in Tulsa, Oklahoma, I'm equate that to the same thing as the Laquan McDonald shooting. He was walking away, and it was even worse because he had his hands up, even if he was off PCP. He was not a threat. And then there's one thing y'all left out when the attorney was talking. The attorney showed, well, he didn't show it, but it was a glass with blood on the glass. He couldn't reach into the car because the glass was up. Now, once those facts come out, it's going to be a whole different set of circumstances. Now, I want y'all to think about something. You mean to tell me a terrorist that was trying to blow up countless people, they can bring him into custody after he shot at the police? They can keep him alive because they want to question him. But this one black guy with his hands up, he gets killed.
Yeah, Verlin, I mean, on that issue, that doesn't mean that police were shooting to maim the terrorist and
they had a shootout. I mean, a cop got shot in the chest and bulletproof vest saved him.
And the terrorist got shot a couple of times. Mr. Crutcher received medical treatment, too. They were unable to save him, unfortunately, and they were able to save the terrorist. But it's not because, one was trying to wing a terrorist and the other is trying to take down a black civilian, a black American citizen. So that's not compelling. But the first part of what you said is legitimate. It's part of the evidence that needs to be gathered. Thanks for the call.
See Alan West, Michelle Malkin, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, Mike Gallagher, townhall.com political editor Guy Benson, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh at Freedom Summit Chicago 2016. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com. And now, a moment of objectivism with your Ron Brook and the Ayn Rand Institute.
Racism is an issue at the forefront of the American news. You've seen the headlines about the polarizing trial of George Zimmerman, the unrest in Ferguson, the Charleston church shooting, and the Baltimore protests. America is grappling with what Ayn Rand once described as the lowest, most crudely primitive form of collectivism, racism. Racism is the inherently unjust notion that one is to be judged not by his own character and action, but by the characters and actions of a collective of ancestors. The cure for racism is the philosophy of individualism. Individualism demands a colorblind justice, one where we judge people as individuals, not as race members. For more, read Ayn Rand's essay, Racism in the Virtue of Selfishness, at ARIradio.com. From the Ayn Rand Institute, I'm Yaron Brook.
This has been A Moment of Objectivism from the Ayn Rand Institute. To learn more, listen to The Yaron Brook Show, Saturdays at 4 on AM 560, and visit ARIradio.com.
Why are Ayn Rand's ideas so compelling? Her worldview, her philosophy, expressed dramatically in her novels Atlas Shrugged and The Fountainhead, embodies the ideals stated by the Founding Fathers in the Declaration of Independence and sets forth the requirements necessary to achieve a flourishing life. She called her philosophy objectivism and said it was a philosophy for living on Earth. Today, decades after her death, objectivism continues to stir debate and inspire passion for the spirit of individualism and the enduring American dream.
You've heard me talk about how your business can profit from having an updated phone system at zero cost. The truth is, an outdated system can mean lost revenue. That's why AM 560 chooses to work with Innovative Networks. They excel at providing innovative solutions to reinforce your company's phone infrastructure and enhance call flow. We appreciate how comprehensive, diligent, and cost-effective Innovative Networks was in providing network solutions that scale as our business expands. Not only can they replace your outdated phone system at no cost, Innovative Networks will provide hands-on training to maximize your capabilities. You'll save money and be more focused on growing your business. AM 560 is thrilled with Innovative Networks, so follow our lead and call Innovative Networks at 312-889-9090. They're A+ rated by the Better Business Bureau. Call 312-889-9090 or visit go4inet.com. That's go, the number 4, INET.com.
Hi, I'm Lex, CEO of Balance of Nature. At Balance of Nature, we believe in real communication. Whether you call into the office or hear a success story on the radio, you can be sure it's real, unsolicited, and unscripted conversation.
I'm always telling people to buy your product.
They're wonderful, absolutely wonderful. I love the product.
Thank God for Balance of Nature.
You know what, I just feel as if out of everything out there, it just makes the most sense.
I really enjoy the product.
I find them just wonderful.
I love it. It's definitely a good product, no question about it.
I love the Balance of Nature. It's really good. I really like it. Your product is phenomenal.
Good health is only a phone call away. What are you waiting for? Don't miss your opportunity to get a free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 1-800-2468-751. That's 1-800-2468-751. Or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code Chicago.
This is Dan Proft with 60 Seconds of Sanity. Not so long ago, Hillary Clinton was in the basket of deplorables she described as providing half of the supporters Donald Trump enjoys. Way back before 2013, Hillary opposed marriage redefinition. That was before she celebrated the Supreme Court's nullification of the Defense of Marriage Act Hillary had previously championed when President Bill Clinton signed it into law. As a U.S. Senator, Hillary declared she was, quote, adamantly opposed to illegal immigrants, unquote. That same U.S. Senator Hillary Clinton supported racial profiling of Muslims after the 9/11 attacks. Per her redefinitions, Hillary was for all of the isms and phobias before she was against them. Well, she's in deplorable company on the left. Jesse Jackson Sr. once termed abortion genocide. Democrat Assistant Senate Minority Leader Dick Durbin was once a pro-lifer who advocated overturning Roe v. Wade. Times change, but the left never does. The inconsistencies of the leftists' positions are in service of their consistent overriding purpose, which is the dominion over the lives of others. And that's what's truly deplorable.
Here are the stories we're watching right now. Heavy storms bearing down on the Chicago area, and Aurora Cousins are sentenced. WIND Chicago News Time, 8 o'clock.
Fox News Radio, I'm Dave Anthony. Charlotte's mayor is urging people to remain calm. But it was far from it last night. An angry protest over a deadly police shooting. They shut down part of a highway, damaging vehicles. A Walmart was looted. Its windows were smashed, iPads and TVs stolen. Some threw rocks at cops who fought back.
We've been standing here. They've been tear gassing us, shooting us with rubber bullets.
About a dozen officers were injured. Details of yesterday's shooting are in dispute. Fox's Evan Brown has more live.
Dave, was it a gun or a book that Keith Lamont Scott was holding
Our
in his hand?
African American communities are absolutely in the worst shape that they've ever been in before, ever. You take a look at the inner cities, you get no education, you get no jobs, you get shot walking down the street. They're worse.
But
I mean,
Scott's
honestly,
adult daughter, who started
places
up
like
a Facebook live stream
Afghanistan
immediately
are
after the
safer
shooting,
than
says it
some of
was
our
a
inner
book
cities.
and that her father was
And I say
disabled.
to
Dave.
the African American communities, and I think it's resonating,
the New York and New Jersey
because you
bombings,
see what's
including building a
happening
weapon
with
of
my
mass
poll
destruction.
numbers
Authorities say
with
his
African
father accused him
Americans.
of being a terrorist 2 years
They're
ago,
going
but the Fed didn't
like
find any links to terror
high.
groups.
Federal court papers also reveal that Rahami made his bombs using materials bought on eBay. He also kept a handwritten journal with anti-American radical ramblings. Meantime, Rahami's wife reportedly left the country months before the bombings to Pakistan and has been detained by authorities in the United Arab Emirates.
Fox's Brian Yennis in Newark, where Rahami is still being hospitalized after Monday's police shootout. Republicans get another chance to question IRS Commissioner John Koskinen next hour. Some want to impeach him for obstructing the investigation into the IRS, giving extra tax scrutiny to conservative groups. Koskinen admits some of his past statements to Congress later proved mistaken. Fox News Radio, fair and balanced.
Heavy storms bearing down on the Chicagoland area this morning, sweeping through during the height of the rush hour. 8:02 on AM 560. The Answer. Good morning. I'm Mike Scott. City of Chicago set to hire nearly 1,000 new police officers over the next 2 years to try and fight a 50% jump in murders. The Sun-Times is reporting it's the biggest police hiring surge in 30 years. Chicago Teachers Union kicks off another 3 days of strike authorization voting today amid chatter that teachers could soon set a timetable for a second strike. On Tuesday, the union asked the schools to complete voting by the end of this day. Instead of balloting members, the union has said it will take this vote by having delegates walk hallways and sidewalks, gathering petition signatures. Meantime, the mayor's handpicked team and union bargaining members are scheduled to sit down at the negotiating table later today. 2 men are dead following a shootout on Chicago's far south side. The victims began taking shots at each other early this morning near 123rd and South Halsted. The 911 emergency phone lines in DeKalb and Ogle counties have been down, according to their police departments. DeKalb Police Department said both city and county 911 lines are down. Ogle County sheriffs say the same. Vice President Joe Biden will headline a Chicago area fundraiser for Tammy Duckworth next Wednesday alongside Senator Dick Durbin. That, according to the Sun-Times columnist Lynn Sweet. Former Illinois National Guard soldier who pleaded guilty to terrorism-related charges has been sentenced to 30 years in prison. Hassan Edmonds was sentenced yesterday at U.S. District Court. Prosecutors say earlier his cousin, 30-year-old Jonas Edmonds, received a 21-year prison sentence. Philly beat the White Sox. Cubs over Cincinnati. Jay Cutler with an injured thumb, and Bear linebacker Lamar Houston will miss the rest of the season with a torn ACL. The news service of Accountemps. The time is here now to reality check your salary expectations. Visit accountemps.com/salary center to see up-to-date 2017 salary forecast for more than 400 accounting and finance roles. Accountemps is a Robert Half company. Our time is 8:04. Time for the AM 560 Business Beat. From the Fox Business Network, a service of Turnkey.pro, here is Jenny Casola.
From the Fox Business Network, General Mills is reporting weaker earnings in its recent quarter. The maker of Cheerios, Pillsbury, and the Green Giant brand, among many others, says the quarter did not meet its expectations. The Marriott-Starwood Hotels merger is expected to officially close before the market opens on Friday. China's antitrust authority approved the pending merger. That is the last regulatory hurdle for the deal. Starwood is based in Connecticut, Marriott in Maryland. The deal will create the largest hotel operator in the the world and will include the Ritz-Carlton, Courtyard, Westin, St. Regis, Marriott, and Sheraton brands. The Federal Reserve not expected to raise interest rates as it wraps up a two-day meeting today. Fed Chair Janet Yellen holds a news conference at 2:30 Eastern Time. The Dow closed up 9 points yesterday. The Nasdaq added 6, and the S&P gained a fraction. With the Fox Business Report, I'm Ginny Cosola.
8:05 in Chicago. A check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
The clock is ticking. The most important political event of the year comes to Chicago on October 29th. It's Freedom Summit 2016, featuring Lieutenant Colonel Allen West, Michelle Malkin, AM 560's Mike Gallagher, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh. And just added, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, author of Defeating Jihad. Tickets start at just $39 and are available at freedomsummitchicago.com. That's freedomsummitchicago.com. Sponsored in part by Chicago Anesthesia and Pain Specialists and by the Illinois Policy Institute.
If you're serious about selling your home, now is the time. Supply is low and it's a great seller's market in many Chicagoland neighborhoods. I've done the research, and along with my Salem Radio colleagues, Mike Gallagher and Michael Medved, we all recommend that you call Saul. Saul Z and the Z team are so good that if they don't sell your home in 59 days, they'll sell it for free, guaranteed. Saul is ranked 106 out of 1.2.
Plan as your family and asset grow.
For American families.
A more secure America.
Jobs. Opportunity and economic growth. For our children.
And grandchildren.
That's why this election, I'm voting.
For American energy.
Learn more at voteforenergy.org.
Join us
and become an energy voter. Brought to you by American Petroleum Institute.
8:08. Check of the roads in our AM 560 traffic center with Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Kennedy delay started Canfield. It is an hour and 20 minutes. O'Hare to downtown. How about an hour and a half with road work on the westbound Adams Tollway at Lee? It's a mess. Eden's 40 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose. Outbound 52. The Eisenhower's an hour and 30 minutes. Thorndale to downtown. Outbound an hour 25. Stevenson an hour and a half. 355 to Lakeshore Drive. An hour from the Tri-State. Outbound an hour to 355. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound stop and go, 132 to 176. And Dempster to Irving Park with a crash in the left lane. Northbound a mess from 115th to 31st and Roosevelt to Irving Park. Northbound Veterans Memorial, it's slow going from I-55 most of the way to St. Charles and from the Army Trail toll to 290. The other tollways are heavy as well, and there's some flight delays at O'Hare. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast from the aircomfort.com Weather Center. Here's meteorologist Kevin Snyder.
Today, clouds and sun with a shower or thunderstorm around. Very warm and more humid with a high of 88. Tonight, it will be partly cloudy and mild with a low of 66. I'm Kevin Snyder on AM 560. The Answer.
68 at O'Hare. Next news 8:30. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by the Ayn Rand Institute and the Yaron Brook Show. Heard Saturday afternoons at 4 here on AM 560, The Answer.
Good morning. Welcome to your Wednesday morning briefing. Here's what you need to know to start your day.
I've got a subject who won't show me his hand.
That looks like a bad dude, too, to be honest with you.
You all want to know who that big bad dude was? That big bad dude was my twin brother.
She clearly believed him to be under the influence of some type of narcotic, possibly PCP, because she is a drug recognition expert.
Happy Cinco de Mayo. The best taco bowls are made in Trump Tower Grill. I love Hispanics.
I'm Donald Trump, and I approve this message.
This is Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan Proft and Amy Jacobson on AM 560. The Answer.
Good morning, Dan and Amy. So, Trump was in North Carolina yesterday.
Yes, he was.
And he opined on a number of topics as he is wont to do at his rallies. One was his ongoing appeal to black voters.
Yeah, focusing on the African Americans.
Our African American communities are absolutely in the worst shape that they've ever been in before, ever. You take a look at the inner cities, you get no education, you get no jobs, you get shot walking down the street. They're worse. I mean, honestly, places like Afghanistan are safer than some of our inner cities. And I say to the African-American communities, and I think it's resonating, because you see what's happening with my poll numbers with African-Americans. They're going like high.
Yes, like
well,
high.
Are they high? I mean, last ABC had reported a month ago that he was polling at 1% among African-Americans.
There was an LA USC poll that had him more like at 16.5% this week,
That's a big difference.
Snapshots in time. But there does seem to be some movement, and there have been stories this week about Hillary, receiving a bit of a cool reception in terms of as compared to the reception she needs from Black voters, from Latino voters, from millennials,
including women too,
including in swing states where Trump has a much narrower margin in Nevada, for example, among the Latino vote than did Mitt Romney ultimately. So it is interesting that is in part happening. The other thing Trump said yesterday in North Carolina was in response to, and as a preview for, I think, part of what the discussion will be on Monday night in the first debate, a response to what President Obama had to say when he addressed the UN and, by extension, Hillary Clinton and their liberal internationalist perspective on the world. Trump saying this.
Hillary Clinton is the chief emissary for globalism. And I'm not running to be president of the world. I'm running to be president of the United States.
Yeah, you can expect to hear that line again. And for more, you know why I like Juan Williams, Amy? In addition
why
to
do
his,
you like him? Then I'll tell you why.
In addition to his affable personality, he's fun to talk to, but because he is a strong proponent of school choice.
Oh.
Yes, that's why I like him. Why do you like him?
Because I just do. I'm going to keep that under wraps.
Yeah, you don't have to explain. We get it. Juan Williams, Fox News political analyst. Thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Dan, it's nice to be liked. Boy, what a nice way to wake up.
Yes. Now we're gonna get into tearing you apart. No, I'm just kidding.
There you go.
So the debate on Monday night, is your sense that particularly given the events of the last week, from the terrorist attack to these police-involved shootings in Charlotte and Tulsa, that it's going to be law enforcement and immigration dominated?
I'm not clear. They put out the topics this week, and the buckets were so large as to be sort of amorphous, like, what is going on here? But I think national security was one, so I imagine we will get into Hillary Clinton's record as Secretary of State and arguments over whether or not, as Trump argues, she's responsible for ISIS and, like, the attack that took place here in New York this week. So, I imagine that'll come up. But then the other thing was, basically, again, a large bucket about the future of the country or something like that. I don't know what that means. I would guess if I was to try to put myself in the moderator slot, and that's an interesting thing, Trump saying that Lester Holt was a Democrat, and in fact he's a Republican.
Yay, Lester.
I'm sorry?
Yay, Lester.
That I was wondering if, it would focus heavily on economic issues. And, just like in the tape you were playing, Trump has a very dark vision of the economy, despite the indicators. Clinton, I think, is going to have to show that she is sensitive to people who still have a strong sense of anxiety about the economy, even as she says the economy is doing better.
So they're not going to have teleprompters. They're not going to be able to have notes at their lecterns. Do you think that this might get ugly, possibly, and that might turn into a little bit of a cat fight?
Well, you know what, Amy, Donald Trump told Bill O'Reilly earlier this week that it's all up to how Hillary treats him and that he will respond in kind. So now this was an interesting thing on two levels. One, he just basically ceded the role of the progenitor or the aggressor to Hillary Clinton. It's up to how she behaves, not up to how he behaves. And I think that he feels, in some sense, like if he takes the initiative, goes on the offensive early, that people will define him in terms of his temperament as not presidential. On the other hand, for Hillary Clinton, she's got to worry that if Trump does bring up her husband or start talking about her emails and the like, that even if she has a proper response, the headlines the next morning will be Trump's Hillary or Trump dumps on Hillary, and that the narrative coming out will be Hillary got beat up by Donald Trump, doesn't know how to handle him.
Well, and it seems a real tightrope that she has to walk then if Trump is going to at least perception-wise take this passive posture, because it seems to me that Hillary's last best argument to make, the case she has to prosecute for the last 50 days of the campaign, is that he's unfit for the presidency. And so it's difficult to make the case that someone is unfit for the presidency and not have responses in kind.
I didn't get that. You mean like if he's standing there and he looks calm, collected, presidential even, then Hillary has to have a response in kind?
No. What I'm saying is if she prosecutes that case aggressively, then, it's going to bring Trump into, responding in kind. So you're unfit for the presidency. Oh, really? Well, let's talk about fitness for the office. And then the email comes up and then Libya comes up and the whole bucket.
Well, that could come up. But I mean, that when you're talking about temperament, you're not talking about scandals and controversies. You're talking about, being thin-skinned, his tweets in the middle of the night, some of the awful things that he said. And then I think that's what would focus heavily on the temperament issue, Dan. And the thing about it is that from Hillary's perspective, she would want him to react. I don't know if you've read these stories where they're even talking to the guy who wrote the book Art of the Deal with Trump.
Right.
And they're talking to psychologists, and they're thinking,
they want to know what pushes his buttons.
Watching tapes of the previous GOP primary debates to see what gets him agitated.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, no, that's interesting. But it seems to me here's the struggle she has with that is a kind of the underlying substance of the matter. If he stays room temperature, if he's not agitated, then it really puts her in a bit of a trick bag because she has outspent him, 5-1 in terms of retail media. And she's kind of maxed out on his unpopularity. And now he's starting to gain. And so all of the things he said about women and all the other commercials that have been run, it's kind of past post. It's old news. So what's the next best, latest, greatest case she can make for unfitness if those other contentions have kind of gone by the boards?
Well, I think that you don't want to take this risk is the message to the voters that, I think the strength of the Trump campaign is as the disruptor, that people who are dissatisfied with the status quo would say, I don't want another establishment politician. I'm sick of it. I don't even care if Trump screws up some things, but I just want someone who's going to go in there and shake up the old boy system, break the China. And what Clinton has to say, I think, is you're not talking about breaking the China. You're talking about breaking the country, our values, our children, and make the risk unacceptable.
All right. He's Juan Williams, Fox News political analyst. Juan, thanks as always for joining us. Appreciate it.
Dan and Amy, I like you too.
Oh, nice.
You know why I like Juan Williams? Because he's personable and I understand him and he explains things perfectly.
Okay,
so
there
that
you
somebody
go.
like me can
Juan,
comprehend.
you just got a quote for your the back of your next book from Amy Jacobson there.
There it is.
All right.
Thanks, guys.
Thanks, Juan.
And he joined us on our turnkey.pro answer line.
You've made the switch, and it feels so good. You've switched to Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Shower is still among us and some dark clouds out there, but it will lighten by this afternoon. A high today of 88 degrees. Let's get those travel times. A very busy man this morning. Here's Jim Telemonte.
Amy, it's slow on the inbound Edens at 40 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose outbound slower at 52 minutes. The Kennedy, an hour and 20 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 50 minutes from Montrose, 32 in the Express. Outbound an hour and 25 minutes to O'Hare thanks to road work on the westbound Adams Tollway at Lee Street. The Eisenhower, an hour and a half. Thorndale to downtown, an hour 13 from Manheim. Outbound an hour 13. Make that an hour 20 to Thorndale. The Stevenson, an hour and 25 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound an hour 20. The Ryan, 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State, southbound very slow, 132 to 176. And Golf to Irving Park for the crash in the left lane. Northbound stop and go, 111th to 31st. And Roosevelt to Irving Park. Reagan Tollway heavy. Fox River to 59 and Naperville Road most of the way to the Tri-State. The Veterans Memorial jammed. I-55 most of the way to St. Charles and Army Trail to 290. That's traffic, AM 560, The Answer.
Hey, if you're looking to secure financing on a new home or refinance your existing mortgage, then you should do what I did and call David Hochberg over there at Pearl Mortgage. Now, if you're purchasing a home, You can call your bank or surf the internet, call a lender advertising on the radio, or you could just do what I did and call David. Why David? Because in addition to his outstanding customer service, market knowledge, and low rates, David has a team of dedicated and experienced in-house underwriters. That's a big deal, which gives David total control over the loan process. When purchasing a home, always compare closing costs, interest rates, and most importantly, make sure your lender has in-house underwriters. If your lender doesn't have in-house underwriters, hang up and call David. So if you're purchasing a home or would like to work with an experienced loan professional who appreciates and values your business and has in-house underwriters, then call David now, 312-751-1333, or visit am560david.com. Pearl Mortgage, an equal housing lender, Illinois residential mortgage licensee, 4358 NMLS 19186.
When it comes to commercial vehicles, it's time to drill down to the details. If you're not driving the new Sprinter Worker from Mercedes-Benz, your van just isn't cutting it. The Sprinter Worker takes payload up a notch, carrying up to 3,512 pounds. Its cargo volume is cranked up too, with over 300 cubic feet of space. When it comes to safety, it's unmatched, but it's the price that'll really hammer it home. The new Sprinter Worker starts at just $32,495. It also has a service interval of up to 20,000 miles and the highest residual value in its class, according to ALG. Put that in your pipe and weld it. Huge capacity, small price, starting at just $32,495. The all-new Sprinter Worker, starting at only $32,495. Mercedes-Benz, vans born to run.
MSRP for a 2016 Sprinter Worker excludes all options, taxes, title, registration, transportation charge, and dealer prep. Options, model availability, and actual dealer price may vary. See dealer for details.
A couple years ago, I had a severe accident which disabled my right hand and caused chronic pain. I did not want to deal with the side effects of pain meds. There is absolutely no reason to suffer. There are ways to find a solution and get off the drugs. I definitely believe Dr. Candido found that for me, and immediately, he sat down with me, really wanted to find the source of the pain and really fix me. And, I've seen many doctors in my lifetime, obviously with this accident, but I have to say Dr. Kenneth Candido, he cares about me. It's changed my life. I absolutely would recommend Dr. Kenneth Candido. There is a light at the end of the tunnel.
This is Ken Candido of Chicago Anesthesia Pain Specialists. If you or someone you love or someone you know has chronic pain, contact us. Treating chronic pain issues is what we do. We can make it better. Get an appointment and let's talk. MyPainChicago.com, MyPainChicago.com. All the info is available at MyPainChicago.com. Let's make you pain-free.
Signature Bank is Chicago's fastest growing, independently owned business bank. Signature Bank listens to your story, learns about your business, and sticks with their customers. I'm Dan Proft, and I know this because Signature Bank is my business bank.
I'm Kevin Bastuga, co-founder of Signature Bank. As native Chicagoans, my partners and I know this city, its economy, and the challenges that small businesses face. We like to think of Signature Bank as your hometown bank. Chicagoans helping Chicagoans. We understand that banking is ultimately about people, and we build long-term, lasting relationships with our customers. We stand by our customers, and our customers stand by us, and we welcome new customers every day. We look forward to welcoming you and your business into the Signature Bank family.
Signature Bank is looking for their next success story. Learn more about turning your business vision into reality. Visit signature-bank.com. Signature Bank, helping local businesses succeed. Member FDIC, equal housing lender.
AM 560, The Answer. Don't miss Freedom Summit Chicago 2016, October 29th in Itasca. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com.
Dan and Amy, so we've been soliciting Secret Service names all morning because the Trump Secret Service names have been revealed. Ivanka's is Marvel. Donald's is Mogul. Melania's is Muse. Mine is One Iron. Right now, Amy's is Sweet Rican. That's the leader in the clubhouse. But Bob from Elk Grove Village has a suggestion. Bob?
Hey, Dan.
Hey, Bob.
Yeah, listen, yours was easy. The dictionary, that's easy.
Okay.
Amy's was a little harder.
All right.
I kind of came up with Autolite.
Autolite?
Yeah. Wow.
I don't get it.
Come on, she's a light bulb. You know that.
Oh, thanks for the call, Bob. You light up our lives. That's what Bob means.
Sure, that's what he meant.
Yeah. All the names have been very complimentary.
Yeah, right.
Not all of them. All right, so here's the thing. Who do you like reading, singing Trump tweets? You got Lin Miranda, the creator of Hamilton, which is coming to Chicago soon.
Yes, it is. Are you going to go see it again, Dan?
As a
with
patron,
your fancy friends?
As a patron of the arts, I saw Hamilton in New York. I see original productions.
Oh, my God.
Lin Miranda on a bus singing Trump holiday tweets, or a British person reading Trump tweets. First, Lin Miranda.
Happy Thanksgiving to all, even the haters and losers. Happy Cinco de Mayo. The best taco bowls are made in Trump Tower Grill. I love Hispanics.
That's great.
I would like to extend my best wishes to all, even the haters and losers, on this special date, September 11th.
Pretty good. That could be a holiday album for Lin Miranda.
Good. Yeah.
All right, now the British guy reading
guy
reading Trump tweets. Which do you like better?
I think I'll win the Hispanics. I employ thousands of Hispanics. They love me, I love them. And I think I'm going to do great with women. And one of the reasons I'm going to do great with women is that I'm a leader. I'm not like Hillary Clinton. She's got no strength. She's got no stamina. Everything she does is like theatrical. Donald Trump said this. It's sort of interesting. She said, I watched her last night. Donald Trump looks like she practices in front of a mirror for 2 hours. Donald Trump said, I think he's dangerous. I'm dangerous. She's the one that caused all this problem with her stupid policies. You look at what she did with Libya, what she did with Syria. Look at Egypt. What happened with Egypt? A total mess. We don't back any of our allies. You look. She was truly, if not the, one of the worst Secretary of States in the history of the country.
I gotta say,
I'm going for the
British guy, especially because the impersonation of Trump impersonating Hillary Clinton with a British accent. I mean, you cannot beat that. There's nothing better than that.
Connect with Dan and Amy using the AM 560 mobile app. Download it today at 560theanswer.com/mobile.
Where did the separation of church and state come from? This is Law and Justice with Jay Sekulow.
Not in the Constitution. It's not a law or anything. So where does this separation of church and state come from?
Well, it comes from the Supreme Court decisions coming out in the 1940s that had completely turned upside down the whole religion clauses by applying this, wall of separation that has made conflicting decisions like you can't have a public display of the Ten Commandments in Kentucky, but you can have a public display of the Ten Commandments in Texas. And those were 5-4 decisions. And I think, Judge Alito, really helps that. And look, the liberal groups love the Ninth Circuit Court of Appeals because they are the circuit that is wrong the most. They're overturned the most.
The American Center for Law and Justice is here to defend our religious liberties. Learn more about the American Center for Law and Justice on our website at aclj.org. That's aclj.org.
Gentlemen, when it comes to your health, you know your numbers. You may know your blood pressure and cholesterol, but do you know your testosterone number? I know mine. Low T Center made it easy. I went to the Low T Center and took a simple blood test. And with our on-site lab, I was able to get my results in minutes. If you're a man over 40 and have noticed a decline in energy, stamina, or libido, you may have low testosterone. Low T levels make you feel tired and grumpy, can raise your cholesterol, and even cause weight gain. And in honor of Prostate Health Month, Low T Center is offering a $50 testosterone and prostate level test. So guys, if you don't have your numbers, haven't met your deductible, or don't have insurance, you should take advantage of this offer. It's quick, easy, and you get your results in about 20 minutes. So do yourself a favor and call 630-409-4305. Tell them Dan Prof sent you. That's me. That number again, 630-409-4305, or visit them online at lowtcenter.com.
Coming up on Chicago's Morning Answer.
Have you heard of the Women's Policy Circle? If you haven't, you're going to want to hear about it. And to explain it is Sylvia Legere Ricketts at 8:38.
And then later, the Hollywood couple born of adultery is broken up. We'll tell you why. But first, into the newsroom we go. Here's Mike Scott.
Outside, we have gray skies, some heavy thunderstorms in the area. People in Charlotte, North Carolina, cleaning up in the University City neighborhood where violent protests filled the streets overnight into this morning.
Mike Gallagher
began yesterday afternoon when a black police officer shot and killed a black man who police say had a gun. Ahmad Khan Rahami now faces federal charges in the weekend bombings in New York City and Seaside Park, New Jersey. The 28-year-old New Jersey man is charged with using a weapon of mass destruction and bombing public places. Family of an unarmed black man shot and killed by a white police officer in Tulsa, Oklahoma, says that killing was unjustified. The attorneys for the family of Terrence Crutcher say video shows that Crutcher was not armed and not being belligerent. There are reports Donald Trump used money from his charitable organization to pay settlements for lawsuits against his businesses. Trump's running mate Mike Pence believes the story is not true.
I think what we found is that there's a number of factual errors in that story, as there were in previous stories about the Trump Foundation. I'm confident they'll be able to address those and demonstrate that they fully complied with the law.
The Washington Post reporting yesterday Trump used more than $250,000 in charitable donations to his Trump Foundation to settle suits made against him and his business interests. City of Chicago planning on hiring nearly 1,000 new police officers to fight a 50% jump in murders, that according to the Sun-Times. Chicago Teachers Union kicks off another 3 days of strike authorization voting as the mayor's handpicked team and union bargaining members are scheduled to sit down at the negotiating table today. We've been telling you about the 911 emergency phone lines in DeKalb and Ogle counties. They've been down most of the morning, but according to their police departments, 911 emergency lines are up and running now on a temporary basis. They're looking for a permanent fix. Vice President Joe Biden will headline a Chicago area fundraiser for Tammy Duckworth next Wednesday alongside Senator Dick Durbin, that according to the Sun-Times' Lynn Sweet. And actor Bill Murray and his brothers think golf should be a lot more fun, so they're bringing out a line of golf clothes to help that along. One pattern features rakes like the ones Murray's deranged greenskeeper used in the 1980 comedy Caddyshack, another with Cub pinstripes. Few Chicago-themed items go on sale today. The full line comes out October 21st. Philly over the White Sox 7-6, and Murray's Cubs were winners over Cincinnati 6-1. The news service of GAF Roofing. Roofing contractors come to Lowe's Arlington Heights for a special pro appreciation event. Friday, September 23rd from 11 to 1. Meet the local GAF team. Get discounts on one pallet or more of GAF shingles while supplies last September 23rd. And the Lowe's in Arlington Heights, 8:33, and a check of traffic and weather on the way next on AM 560.
Mike Gallagher sees a spiral in the Clinton campaign.
Let me allow you to fully embrace how bad things are right now for the Clinton campaign with tightening polls, how good things are going for Donald Trump. It has turned in a major way. Donald Trump, once again, all of us who've raised concerns about Hillary Clinton's health are being vindicated.
The Mike Gallagher Show, weekdays at 9, right before Dennis Prager at 11 on AM 560. The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Papa Nicholas Coffee. Papa Nicholas, great coffee, period.
Did you know that if you have mutual funds in your IRA, 401k, or investment accounts, that according to Forbes magazine, you could be paying as much as 3.17% in hidden fees every single year? 3.17% may not sound like much, but over 10 years, it's costing you 32%, whether your fund is up or down. Hi, it's Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group in Chicago and host of the Alpha Wealth Hour on AM 560. This is just one of the reasons I hate mutual funds, and you should too. You may not know this, but you have far more investment options today without the excessive fees. Learn what they are in my free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds. What you learn may shock you. To get your free report, The Truth Behind Mutual Funds, call 630-519-4742. There's no obligation. That's 630-519-4742.
Investment advisory services offered through Retirement Wealth Advisors, Inc.
8:35. Let's get an update on the roads. AM 560 Traffic Center time. Here is Jim Talamonte.
Thanks, Mike. Inbound Eden's delay started Chewy. It's 40 minutes. Lake Cook to Montrose and outbound 55. The Kennedy, an hour and 20 minutes. O'Hare to downtown, 50 minutes from Montrose, 32 in the Express. Outbound 37 minutes to Montrose, an hour 22 O'Hare. Delays continue out to Lee Street on the westbound Adams Tollway. Roadwork causing a big backup. Inbound Eisenhower, an hour and a half. Thorndale to the post office, an hour 15 from Manheim. Outbound an hour 20 to Thorndale. Stevenson, an hour and 25 minutes. 3:55 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound an hour 20 after an earlier crash at the Tri-State. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Southbound Lakeshore Drive is a mess from Bryn Mawr to North Avenue. Northbound slow from the Stevenson to Jackson. Tri-State southbound delays, 132 to 176. And Central Road to Irving Park, crash now on the left side. Northbound very heavy, 111th to 31st. And Roosevelt to Irving Park. Other tollways also heavy. Traffic answers when you need them most. I'm Jim Talamonte, AM 560, The Answer.
Chicago's Morning Answer continues next. Your official Chicagoland weather forecast. From the AirComfort.com Weather Center, providing the right climate for business since 1935. Clouds and sunshine mix, showers and storms this morning. A little more sun this afternoon, high 88. Partly cloudy and mild, 66 overnight. Currently 67 at O'Hare. Next news coming up at 9. Chicago's Morning Answer with Dan and Amy continues next on AM 560, The Answer.
This hourly segment is brought to you by Get Down to Business with Shalom Klein, powered by Tandem HR and sponsored by Everett College Funding. Heard Sunday evenings at 6.
Dan and Amy. Now, Amy, have you heard of the Policy Circle?
The Women's Policy Circle?
Yeah.
Yes, I have.
Yeah.
I heard rumblings about it about a year and a half ago, actually.
Yeah, this has started relatively recently, but it seems to have taken off. Not just in the Chicago metropolitan region, but now it's been exported to other states. It's essentially, as I understand it, I'm not invited.
Yeah, and don't try to say you feel like a woman so you could come into the meeting.
No, I won't try and do that. But
your Gracie Mitt's office.
Smart, professional women getting together to talk public policy and then, be active in the public policy process. And it seems to be catching on. For more on this, we're happy to be joined by Sylvie Lazare Ricketts. Amy took French. I did not, so I hope I pronounced that name correctly. Sylvie, thanks for joining us. Appreciate it.
Hi, Dan. Hi, Amy. Thanks for having me on your show.
Well, so tell us about the genesis of the Policy Circle and how it's proceeded and what you guys aim to do.
Yeah, well, like you said, our goal is really we've developed a framework and a model that we want to bring women together to meet and have a dialogue on how public policy impacts their lives, impacts the free market systems, impacts the ability for people to start and grow businesses. So we started actually in Wilmette with just a few women, 15 women in my living room, and we just got together after I've attended a conference around public policy, and we just started discussing, the book, Milton Friedman's book, Free to Choose, and it kind of went from there.
Good start.
So the first 4 chapters. And it just really went from there. The group in Wilmette grew, from 15 to 40 to 60, and we found in Indianapolis a similar thirst for women wanting to just have a dialogue about policy and wanting to understand the facts and also come together with women in their neighborhood, in their community, so they could start to get engaged on issues that directly affect them.
So you don't you don't have speakers. It's just a conversation among women.
Yes. That's right. We don't have speakers, so what we've done is we developed a series of briefs that are national level briefs on the key issues. So on healthcare, on economic growth, taxes, fiscal responsibilities, poverty, education, and we ask women to come prepared and to discuss. And we do a true roundtable discussion where we ask every single person there to share their views. And there's something magical that happens when you do that. You feel heard. You can articulate the issue in your own words, and you're much more likely to start engaging with others in your community around you about policy. You will start reading the paper and look at it differently. You will engage in conversation. And that's really our goal, is to start the conversation, to change the conversation, and move from confrontation to real dialogue, to understand the two sides and to understand and encourage candidates that are aligned with, our views on key principles of free markets, and then hold them accountable and be able to do that.
So you're coming from a free market perspective, as you mentioned, and starting with Friedman is a good start. I mean, I'm happy to be a facilitator and provide everybody a reading list if you want, for those that don't know. I mean,
Dan inserts himself again.
I've done
You're
it,
not a woman, Dan.
I've done it for Amy, and
Yes.
and she's come a long way, baby.
I'm a work in progress.
But let me ask you this question: Is this also an incubator for future candidates for office? People kind of building a support network, and as you say, kind of learning more about the issues through that peer-to-peer dialogue, and maybe someday we'll have some of these participants running for state and federal offices.
Well, hopefully, that's something. Originally when we started this, the idea was really to deepen the understanding, and then something magical happened is that, women start encouraging each other to run for different positions, whether it's at the very local district, park districts, school boards, city level, and then even in Congress. So, one of our members, Joan Lasson, is now running for Congress in the 9th District in Illinois 9. And so that's been an outcome that we did not really anticipate, but seems to happen. And then she has a network of people, that people decide. We're a nonpartisan nonprofit, so the idea is to really be a platform for women to jump into the arena, and then also for them to develop their network to feel supported when they do so.
Now, how often do you ladies meet?
So we encourage, what we've done is we've developed a year of conversation. So we suggest that circles meet every other month around a specific theme, but they could really choose to meet around whatever topic they want to. So in Illinois, we've had, for instance, one meeting around a school district consolidation in our area, for instance, and that came from a report that was developed by the Illinois Policy Institute. So it's very specific to our circle, to our area, and something that we just wanted to learn more about. So, it's every other month. We suggest some themes so that circle leaders are not left blank, having to try to find something. And we also partner with state-based free market think tanks, such as the Illinois Policy Institute, to provide really the state perspective on the national issues, and also help prioritize what are the issues that people should really be looking at and understand in their state. So we had one discussion around the pension crisis in Illinois to really try to understand and follow the issue and follow the issue more closely and in a more informed way.
Now, are you also using this potentially as a way to groom women to replace these insufferable women on The View and The Chew? And we need like women or whatever the heck women in that have some knowledge of public policy, talking about public policy on TV. That would be fun.
That would be fun. And as I said, we're really developing a stepping stone. I think I would call it this way, a stepping stone, or really a springboard for women to see how they want to fulfill their civic duties as citizens. And that's really the goal. And right now, so we started off, in Illinois. My co-founders are in Indianapolis. So we started in parallel in the two cities. And we have now 10 circles in Illinois, close to 10 also in Indiana. But we have a total of 31 circles in 11 states.
Wow.
Right now. And we just really officially launched March 2015. And this past weekend, we just had our very first conference in Indianapolis where over 110, 15 women came together, and we asked them to come prepared to have read briefs about specific issues, and they were given the platform to share their views. They participated in 8 roundtable discussions. We had moderators that were scholars, specialists in the area, in specific topics, and they did it,
Well, so that's so interesting. I mean, the growth of this, that much growth that quickly speaks to the axiom about business. Every enterprise solves a problem. And so this seems to be solving a problem where women didn't feel like they, particularly of a kind of a free market perspective, didn't feel like they had an outlet for engagement. And now they do. I'd just be curious, I mean, as kind of a political hack, the women that are involved in the policy circle, what is it they said about the lack of intersection points to get involved in public policy or the political process, prior to the creation of these circles?
Well, I think a lot of women were on the sideline, not wanting to get engaged, not to engage us in conversation. If you think about it, as a woman, you wear many hats. You work, you have your work discussions, you have your family discussion. You may be involved in supporting a lot of different charities in your church. There's no space, for you to really engage on policy or politics, more policy really, without, it's a risky field, especially in places like Illinois, and the way discussions quickly turn to personal attacks, to just not about a dialogue of ideas and philosophy of where things should go and what are the core principles that drive policy making. So that's what we're providing. We're providing this space.
And do you talk about the pink elephant in the room? Do you ladies discuss the upcoming presidential election? Because, in 2012, 53% of the voters were women.
Yeah, it's interesting. We have one circle in New York that is actually discussing specifically the election. I'm not sure exactly how they're doing it, if they're looking at the platform of each of the candidates. I think that we're certainly looking at, we are having also a discussion about the importance of Congress and the Senate and why the gridlock and why it matters who you elect in Congress to enact the right policies to reduce the reach of government and reinstitute some fiscal responsibility. So I think some circles are looking at it from that perspective. Other circles are meaning around, what we often forget is U.S. exceptionalism. Like why is it that Steve Jobs was able to be Steve Jobs in the United States, and it's the free enterprise system. So from that perspective, I think we need to go back and say, what really, it's free markets that enable the progress that we've seen around the world, and we need to recognize that. And I'm not seeing that on anybody's platform right now, and as well as fiscal responsibility.
Yeah, so this is great news for me, because now that the ladies have the free market economics covered, I can withdraw from that space and start my own men's policy circles that are focused on issues like Bradgelina and issues that I care about.
It's funny. Well, maybe there's a lot of men actually. We've had one of my colleagues is asking about men wanting to start a policy circle, and I feel like every circle, every men's gathering is almost a policy circle, right? So you could lead that. We could help you do that.
Thank you very much. I appreciate the mentorship. All right, she is Sylvie Lazar-Ricketts. Did I pronounce that right?
Yes, you did. Finally.
Yes.
All right.
It took you 3 times, but we got him there.
I mean, I'm working on my French. Sylvie, the policy circle, and is there a website or a place people can go if they want to get involved?
Oh, yes. Thank you. So it's thepolicycircle.org, but people can also text the number 555-888, and they can text the letters TPC. And then they could provide their information, and if they're interested in starting a circle. So thepolicycircle.org to learn more. The story, your circle leaders, how it works. Everything is really on a platform for circle leaders to start, grow, manage their circles, and have access to a library of briefs.
All right, Sylvie, thanks so much for joining us. Appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me.
And she joined us on our Turnkey.
Oh,
thank you. And she joined us on our Turnkey.pro answer line.
Hear about the big stories of the day, then talk about them right here on Chicago's Morning Answer on AM 560. The Answer.
Coming up next, Angelina Jolie files for divorce from Brad Pitt. The real reason why, coming up. But first, here's your forecast. We're getting through this storm. It will end, folks, and we'll have some partly sunny skies by this afternoon, a high of 88 degrees, and tomorrow some sunshine for your first day of fall and a high near 90. Jim Talamonte, please tell me things have gotten better on the inbound Kennedy.
They have, Amy, by 5 minutes. Instead of an hour and 20 minutes from O'Hare to downtown, it's an hour 15. But there's a stall now at Lawrence in the left lane. That's not helping. The express lanes do save about 12 minutes. Outbound, you're looking at an hour and 13 minutes to the airport. There's road work on the westbound Adams Tollway at Lee that's really making a mess of things. Eden's 40 minutes. Lake Hook to the junction, outbound 55. The Eisenhower, an hour and 30 minutes. Thorndale to downtown, outbound an hour 15. Stevenson, an hour and 20 minutes. 355 to Lakeshore Drive, outbound an hour. Ryan, 32 minutes, 95th to downtown. Tri-State southbound, very slow, 132 to 176 and Central Road to Irving Park. Northbound, 111th, 31st and Roosevelt to Irving Park. Eastbound Adams Tollway stop and go from the Elgin Toll to the Fox River. And stop and go Bussy to Lee as well. The Veterans Memorial still jammed from the Des Plaines River Bridge most of the way up to St. Charles and from the Army Trail Toll to 290. I'm Jim Talamonte in the AM 560 Traffic Center.
Balance of Nature's fruits and veggies.
My name is Dr. Howard. I've recommended Balance of Nature for over 15 years because of the excellent results I see in my patients. Balance of Nature doesn't make any claims of treating or curing any particular disease, but I think the results speak for themselves.
I was inducted into the Utah Tennis Hall of Fame. When you get to be a senior, almost 77, you lose a step here, you lose a little reflex, lose a little timing. But the thing I've noticed since I've been on Balance of Nature is that I'm just as perky as ever. I don't get tired. It's a wonderful feeling. I can play 4 and 5 hours of tennis a day, and up to that time, I've been on them a couple of months. I couldn't do that. That's the main thing that has helped me immensely.
Call now to find out how to get your free month's supply of Balance of Nature. Call 800-2468-751 or go online to balanceofnature.com.
Use promo code CHICAGO.
Hi, I'm Mary Beth. I had a failed root canal and it was causing me pain. Dr. Neruzzi took care of my tooth and I got my implant, and then I had another after that fail and he did that one as well. And the experience was, they were amazing. It was not painful at all like I thought it was going to be, and I was very, very, very nervous about the whole thing. Nobody enjoys getting, implants or dental work. And I procrastinated, but I had to have it done. And he took me in immediately and took care of it. And he made it really affordable. They're very accommodating to people that cannot afford to have it done. I would recommend Dr. Neruzzi to anybody, and I have given him referrals. My own sister had hers done by him.
This is Dr. Neruzzi. I personally guarantee your happiness with your implants. Go to implantsforme.com.
For missing teeth, dental implants are wonderful. The advantages are fantastic. Just remember, implantsforme.com. Implantsforme.com.
If you're serious about selling your home, now's the time. Supply is low and it's a great seller's market in many Chicagoland neighborhoods. This is Michael Medved, and I've done some research, and along with my Salem radio colleagues Mike Gallagher and Dennis Prager, we all recommend that you call Saul. Saul Z and the Z team are so good that if they don't sell your home in 59 days, they'll sell it for free. Guaranteed. Saul is ranked 106 out of 1.2 million agents by the Wall Street Journal. His proven marketing system is so effective that he sells on average a home every single day. Now, he does it by attracting multiple full-price offers that increase demand and help sell your home fast and at the highest price. It's a no-brainer. If I were selling a home in Chicagoland, I'd call Saul. Go online to callsaul.net. That's callsaul, SAUL.net. Or call Saul now at 888-346-0666. That's callsaul.net or 888-346-0666. You'd better call Saul.
AM 560.
The Answer. This is some serious stuff here.
Oh, very.
Angelina Jolie, she filed the divorce documents yesterday. I read through them, Dan, so you didn't have to. And she's seeking physical custody of their 6 children, and she wants the court to grant him visitation. Yeah, that's not going to fly well. In a statement, she said this decision was made for the health of the family.
Of course.
So here's the deal. Brad Pitt, because I know him because, he was a Sigma Chi at Mizzou. And I know his college girlfriend. He smoked a lot of pot in college.
No, but she left him. She left him because he doesn't shower. He's dirty.
No, well,
he's smelly.
They haven't been
disgusting.
According to employees at a New York hotel, the last time they were in New York 6 months ago, they were on separate schedules. They didn't even stay in the same hotel room. Telltale sign.
Oh boy! Well, I'll tell you what. Let me tell you something.
He's having an affair.
Let me tell you something.
With this co-star of his new movie.
You communicate this to Angelina Jolie.
What?
I got a vial of blood right here.
Oh my God, gross.
For her to wear around her neck. You know
Well,
what I'm saying?
also, when she was married to Billy-
You hear what I'm saying? You picking up what I'm...
Oh, gross. And also, when she was married to Billy Bob Thornton, she drank his blood.
Yeah.
To show her commitment to him. She's got a problem. Her last 3 husbands, she have all met on the sets.
I got 8 pints of blood for Angelina Jolie. I'm ready to put down right now.
According to TMZ, Angelina reached her breaking point last week over Brad's consumption of weed and alcohol.
Oh, golly.
And combined with what she says are Brad's anger issues. His interactions with the kids created a deal-breaking problem for her. That's what one source.
You know,
she doesn't want spousal support, so that's good.
Well, that's great. I heard this story yesterday, and I was asking myself this question for the last 16 hours. Is there any possibility I could care less about this development? And the answer is no.
Well, they almost
I couldn't.
They almost broke the internet yesterday. I'm not kidding you. When this spread like wildfire, Rahami took a back seat.
Sure.
To this big news.
You're tweeting on it alone.
See Alan West, Michelle Malkin, Dr. Sebastian Gorka, Mike Gallagher, townhall.com political editor Guy Benson, Dan Proft, Amy Jacobson, and Joe Walsh at Freedom Summit Chicago 2016. Tickets are on sale now at freedomsummitchicago.com.
You've saved for retirement but aren't sure what to do with your savings. You need to make it work for you and make it last. The Alpha Wealth Group has cutting-edge programs designed to help you identify the challenges surrounding retirement. They'll help you create a clear picture and roadmap for your future, how to maintain your present standard of living and make your money last. So don't wait until you're left without options. Get answers you need in a free report, 5 Simple Steps to a Stress-Free Retirement. This invaluable report is from Tom Fortino of the Alpha Wealth Group here in Chicago. Tom is the host of the Alpha Wealth Hour, heard Saturdays at 9 a.m. on AM 560 for the past 8 years, and has been featured in Fortune and on Fox Business. Are you ready to get serious about your retirement? Call the Alpha Wealth Group now for your free report, 5 Simple Steps to a Stress-Free Retirement, at 800-748-3185. That's 800-748-3185. Or visit alphawealthgroup.com. Investment advisory service.